welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following episode. My name is Colton Brown, and joining me in Metropolis this episode, it's Andrew Meadows.
I am here from Metropolis reporting live. Oh. Shit is wild.
Well, there's a lot going on. There's this guy in underwear. He's wearing underwear on the outside, and he's flying around.
There's flying fucking dogs. It's
flying
nuts.
Dogs. There's that big fucking kaiju-looking thing.
Big kaiju thing, yeah.
There's a guy that's throwing out green middle fingers left and right. It's just chaos out here.
Black guy with a big T on his face. It's crazy.
It's like sort
sitting
of
in a chair. He's just like
spherical devices.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, that's how life is in Metropolis right now. But that's okay. That's okay.
That one guy does have a cool jacket, though. Very cool jacket.
Okay. Pretty sweet jacket.
Mr. Terrific, I think his name is.
Little envious. Fair play. Is that what you're a little envious of that?
Very cool.
Pretty cool. Anyway, if our listeners haven't surmised from either our very, very funny, witty commentary thus far or the episode title, we are covering Superman on this episode. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Andrew going to a movie theater?
I did. One all the way in Michigan.
As a true journalist would, though. Yeah. Oh, well, we'll have to talk about whether the theaters are a little different up there. I don't know. It's like a different country, right?
Yeah, it felt
pretty close anyway. Yes. It's pretty close to the Canadian border. Not right there, but pretty close. Yeah, Superman. We got a big one to talk about. This is like the true proper start for the DC universe under James Gunn and Peter Safran. It's a big one, It's kind of, to me, it's like this movie really kind of needs to succeed. It needs to succeed, or that universe probably dies a quick, horrible death, and those two guys get fired out of DC, and maybe they'll bring The Rock back, I don't know. It could go any number of different ways. Black Adam 2, it's back on the table. But no, I'm really, really excited to get into it. It obviously involved a theater visit for you, so which is exciting that you were able to make it happen. And it really hasn't actually been that long since we talked about Andor, which we obviously covered on our last episode. But I'm sure plenty has happened. Baby Nolan is at least a week older. And that would also be true for your other son as well. Little baby B, he's a week older. He's 2+, So we'll be checking on all that, the latest goings on, and we'll have some more news and trailers as we kind of get things back on track. Last episode was like a big one. It was the first one back, obviously, since baby had been born. It had been the first one we recorded in like probably close to 2 months. And we had a lot to cover, and we did not cover it all. We had to, I think, fly through catching up. I scrapped a few things because we started late. We're running quite late, and we'll probably inevitably be doing the same thing here. But I think it's a little less to cover overall. But yeah, Superman. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking about Superman, so it's very, very exciting. But first, we're going to talk. Well, maybe I should say you're going to talk, if you have one ready, of course, about what a good, totally embarrassing dad joke might be.
Oh shit!
I don't know if you have one ready to go. I don't know if I'm putting you on the spot. We can flip the script. I can give you a fun fact.
No. We're good. Let's pull one.
All right, lay it on me. I'm ready.
Ooh.
TBD. Are you processing it yourself before you read it out? Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, so there's three on a card.
Oh, okay. So
then I got to choose the one that's the best.
Okay. Technically, you just showed me that, but I think it was blurry enough that I couldn't read anything.
Yeah, I think we probably just need to pull another one.
All right, that's probably the fairest thing, because otherwise I'd be accused of cheating. We don't want that. That's assuming, of course, that I actually get it, which I did last time, which means I'm probably due for disappointment this time. But we'll see. We'll see.
Usually I kind of like run through these before the show. Screen action. Try to find one that's kind of like appropriate a little bit,
Sure. Yeah. There might be a Superman one in there somewhere.
Maybe.
There's got to be a Superman dad joke on the internet at a bare minimum.
Here we go. This one's appropriate.
Right,
I like this one.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
What kind of car does a cat drive?
What kind of car does a cat drive? A kitster? A Jaguar?
Oh, that seems pretty obvious. That one's a good one.
Not the answer though that you're seeking.
No, this one's a little bit more punny.
Punny, yeah, that makes sense. Cat, kitten. Yeah, I knew. I did too well last time, so now I have to be stumped on this one. It's just how it goes.
Maybe a Ferrari.
A Ferrari. Okay. All right. So, I mean, going with the car, brand, the make, that actually was not a bad idea. I just went.
No, you're pretty close.
Like, let's go with the literal cat one.
Given enough guesses, you probably would have got it.
Maybe. I don't know. I think I was veering away from that and trying to find something out of like an alternate name for a cat, feline, something. I didn't have it. It's okay. I accept defeat. I will come back stronger next time.
You got the last one, though. The last one was bomb.
I was like, I pulled it out in like 3 seconds. Like it was
right.
I impressed myself So, will likely never be replicated again, especially because once we started doing this, I feel like it was like 6 or 7, maybe 10 episodes before we got one at all. And I think that was with Enrique's help. So, overall, my win-loss record is pretty sad. I'm kind of looking like the Colorado Rockies right now in terms of my record. Or really the Atlanta Braves, because they're struggling. But that's neither here nor there. I have a fun fact about Superman to tell the listeners, if you're interested in hearing such a thing.
Yeah, what do we got?
Well, we've had Superman movies in the past, right? We've had
many Superman movies.
Superman the movie with Christopher Reeve, and obviously there were 4 in that iteration, and then Brandon Routh, came back for Superman Returns. I guess they came in for Superman Returns. He didn't come back, but, he was bringing that version of Superman back to life. Then there was a reboot, Man of Steel, and we got Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, which is an all-timer. But once Man of Steel happened, that was 2013, that there had been a lot of, like, false starts on, okay, let's do a solo Superman movie. We did Batman v Superman, but let's do a Man of Steel 2. Let's do another thing with Henry Cavill. And they brought in a lot of filmmakers to maybe, do a second Man of Steel. They brought in someone like Christopher McQuarrie at one point, who, we would have talked about very recently, has done most of the recent Mission Impossible movies, up to and through The Final Reckoning. And in 2018, this is kind of my fun fact, Warner Brothers had the bright idea of asking one James Gunn to write and direct a Superman film. This is 2018, mind you, and for anyone
good ways
doesn't
out.
Understand, we're in 2025 right now. So this is 7 years ago we're talking. They asked him if he wanted to write and direct a Superman film, and he said he didn't have a clear vision for making a Superman movie. And so they kind of offered him, all right, well, is there anything else you want to do? And so ultimately he decided to do the Suicide Squad. And he did indeed do the Suicide Squad. And that was kind of in that weird in-between time where he had been fired from Disney and Marvel. And then obviously post the Suicide Squad, he was brought back to do Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And then kind of, I think while he was making Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the opportunity arose for him and Peter Safran to, as I said, kind of team up and basically form the new leadership of DC Studios to create a new DC universe. And so, obviously, this is now the first film in the DCU, and you might wonder, okay, well, he couldn't come up with a Superman idea 7 years ago. What happened? What was the spark of inspiration for James Gunn in making Superman? And the inspiration, and basically what he's talked about, is he was able to kind of finally crack his idea behind Superman when he got a new dog. He got a rescue dog named Ozu. 8 months old, was a terror, was fearful of humans, intensely destructive, chewed up furniture, shoes, ate a $10,000 computer, ate a tampon out of a wastebasket, which required a vet trip. And what James Gunn has basically said is, oh my God, what if this dog had superpowers? And that became the inspiration for Crypto, which then kind of led him to, I think, what he's kind of said is like, that's the key to this is a Superman that's in a very different type of world. It's a world where there's flying dogs, and a dog who's pretty crazy and out there, and maybe not the most well-behaved canine in the world. And Ozu is really what became Crypto. He did a 3D scan of this dog, became the model for Crypto.
Oh,
so Crypto
really?
Is like a white version, whereas Ozu is like a different color. I think he's like more of a tan color in real life. And that's pretty much kind of how this movie more or less came to be, is figuring out what's the tone of this movie going to be, what's this world going to be like, and all of that was really through his dog, through Ozu. And so that's how we kind of get to this point of Superman, James Gunn writing and directing Superman. So yeah, that's I will have many other things to say about Crypto. I'll have many other things to say about Superman, and James Gunn's obviously process and making this, and his ideas and vision and stuff. Like, obviously all those things we are going to be talking about when we talk about the movie. So in the interest of not spewing it out right now all up front, I will leave it there and say that's my fun fact is that he put a little bit of his real life into Superman, and that was what cracked the code. So yeah, that's my fun fact.
That's pretty fun, dude. Leave it to James Gunn to let the dog crack the code for Superman.
Yeah, well,
he seems to be a very
he's onto something. I don't know.
He's a very pet forward kind of guy.
Yeah, pet forward, animal forward, definitely. I mean, Rocket, and Guardians, and I feel like there's probably Weasel sort of in the Suicide Squad, I guess, maybe.
Yeah. Just, I don't know. There's a through line.
Sometimes it's easier to connect with animals than it is with humans. I don't know what it is, but it's true.
You know what I mean? Just there's an aspect of their reality that is different than ours, and
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
let's move on. We've got headlines and we've got trailers. We've got 5 of each, in fact. So a bit more than last time, but good news is we do not have an in memoriam section, which is maybe disrespectful to the people that have died in the last week, but they did not make the cut for our episode. I'm sorry to say it to them and to their families, whoever they are. But here we are.
Fuck.
We've got a double dose of Robert Eggers news. You know how last time we talked about some Denny news. We got a double dose of Denny news. Well, I'm bringing you a double dose of Robert Eggers news.
Oh man.
I think this first one is quite fascinating, and he's a hot commodity. He's making 7 movies at once. He's Guillermo del Toroing it, and I'm making this. I'm like, my man, unless you've cloned yourself, I don't know where you're finding the time for such things. But he is evidently going to be doing a new adaptation, writing and directing a new adaptation of Charles Dickens' classic story, A Christmas Carol.
Jesus. I don't know if I want that.
This is not going to be his literal. This will not be his literal next project that we'll talk about momentarily. But yeah, I mean, it's the classic Ebenezer Scrooge. Scrooge is synonymous with someone who's a real dickbag and disrespectful and doesn't appreciate the value of Christmas and and family time and all that stuff. He's just a real curmudgeon, classically portrayed by Michael Caine in A Muppet Christmas Carol, which I think is the all-time version of that character, personally speaking. But it's an age-old story. There was a horrifying CGI version with Jim Carrey, with the Robert Zemeckis did it Polar Express style. That was probably 15 years ago-ish, something like that.
That was brutal.
So yeah, what do you think? I mean, the story.
God bless
Robert Eggers.
everyone. Yes. I know it.
Tiny Tim. You know Tiny Tim.
I know Tiny Tim.
What will happen to Tiny Tim? Tiny Tim's gonna get fucking destroyed in a Robert Eggers Christmas Carol. That's what I think is.
Tiny
gonna
Tim is fucked. Yeah, I can't. To be honest with you, I think it's probably too dark for Christmas. Okay. I don't know.
It's the one Eggers movie they won't actually put out on Christmas, despite it being a literal Christmas movie.
It's gonna be some dark shit happening around Christmas. Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty twisted Christmas Carol. I mean, I don't know.
One would think this is not likely to be a let's just do a straight classic Dickens adaptation. Like, no, if you're hiring Eggers for the job and he's writing it, he's going to put a stamp on it.
It's going to be some twisted.
You have to imagine
some twisted shit. It's going to be pretty rough. But if the more twisted it is, the more the redemption is. You know what I mean? I feel like
exactly. It's the journey that brings, spoilers for A Christmas Carol, let's do the math on this, roughly 180-ish year old.
Yeah, I was going to say
book,
180 years. Yeah. But
spoilers.
Like how much of a dickbag
maybe that will make
can he be before the audience doesn't care about his redemption? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like how, like if it goes too dark, it's like there's no redemption for that guy. You know what I mean? He's just too twisted. It's no good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah,
we talked about this today at work. Actually, crimes and punishment, and like,
okay,
like why are these people in jail? You know what I mean? When they did this, this particular thing, and I won't get into details, but.
Sure. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the severity, like how far do you go before there's punishment? You know what I'm trying to say. We're early on. I'm getting in the weeds. I apologize. So, sorry.
No worries. I think it's safe to say he's going to give us something that is not going to be a bog standard version of this. I think that's what I would anticipate this. Maybe that's what WB wants.
There was an FX.
You let Robert Eggers do it. There was an FX one. You're right.
And the FX one was arguably
pretty recently
too bleak, too dark.
Right. That one. Right. I recall that being. I don't think I actually watched it, but it was definitely probably closer to what I'm envisioning this would be, or it's just kind of like. I don't know.
Too bleak, too dark.
Muppets,
it's like
the beauty of the Muppets one is that Gonzo's in it. The beauty of the Muppets Christmas Carol is that Scrooge is like totally played straight, and he's just a fucking asshole. But he has got Muppets around him, so there's levity. It's Gonzo. It's Rizzo the Rat, and Kermit. And Miss Piggy, there's levity inherently in it, despite it being played straight. You take the Muppets out of it, and it's just kind of dour and sad. And maybe at the end, it's like, oh yeah, okay, he's learned a lesson, and and he understands that maybe I shouldn't be a huge fucking asshole all the time, and I should appreciate the things in life, but. I don't know if it is just 2 hours of just fucking beating you over the head with how oppressive and horrible this man is. It's kind of just like, do I want this man to have redemption? Does this man deserve redemption? I don't know. Eggers is going to have to convince us, I think. So we'll see what happens. This is probably a few years away. As I said, it is not Eggers' next project, but we can talk about that if you're ready to move on. If you have any,
let's move on.
Christmas Carol.
What's the next project.
His next project is a movie called Werwulf.
Stop.
WERWULF. Werewolf. And this is coming out Christmas of 2026. I am not shitting you when saying that.
Christmas of 2026.
Yeah, he blessed us with Nosferatu last year. Now he's bringing us some werewolf shit. Said here's some vampire shit. I'm going to give you some werewolf shit. He's just making his rounds with all the shit. And also I'm going to do a Christmas Carol. And there was another thing he's doing. It's like a Labyrinth sequel or something. I don't know. Anyway. He's got a lot of things in motion, but this is fully happening. He is casting it, and he has decided, I like working with people that bring good performances to my movies. I will continue working with them. So the expected leads of this film will be Aaron Taylor Johnson, who of course was in Nosferatu, and it will also be Lily Rose Depp joining the cast.
These are the trappings of an auteur.
Nosferatu. Yeah, just bring your favorites back. Like Wes Anderson does it, and
Tarantino.
Del Toro does it. Tarantino, obviously, very famous for doing it. So, absolutely.
Chris,
Nolan.
Christopher Nolan. Yeah, that's right.
Think, it was hard. It was hard to conjure that last name. I know that was really hard to find in there. What's that guy's name? Chris, what's his face?
They all do it. Yeah.
Chris Bennett, is that it? Have you mixed your kids up yet? That's a classic dad thing to do, even though they're quite different from each other. It's inevitable. God damn it! What's your fucking name?
It's fucked up for you to say that.
I don't think so. It happens. The parents still do it to me. It's totally fine. You got 3 boys. They all just kind of blend together. I'm like, I'm 7 years younger than him, but I guess that's fine.
The director's last name is literally the name of my son. Oh, that's fucked up.
Oh, I see that part. Well, it's just there's just a sort of funny thing about it, though. I mean, you have to admit it's kind of funny. You're laughing. So anyway, Werewolf will have Aaron Taylor Johnson, Lily Rose Depp, and that's not all, Willem Dafoe.
Oh, of course.
A multiple collaborator with Mr. Eggers, with the Eggman, Dr. Eggman. So what do you think about that? What do you think about
Very
that?
excited. I actually haven't seen the Ghost House. I think it's a Ghost House Pictures thing. The one that they remade, or not remade, but the werewolf
right.
thing that they made.
The Wolfman, the one that came out earlier this year.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
But I would like to see that. I'm 100% in on this, though. This sounds good.
Yes, this definitely excites me more than Christmas Carol does. It's Eggers doing something, I guess, more original, I would think. I mean, obviously, werewolves are a very kind of classic thing to tell a story about. I don't know that this is literally Wolfman in terms of what it's adapting. Like Nosferatu wasn't obviously wholly original either. It's just Dracula. But, I don't know. This is interesting.
To be clear on the other Egger news, I mean, Christmas Carol, I like a Christmas Carol. It's just...
Right. It's just, yeah.
Don't make it too dark, because then fuck that guy. You know what I mean? And that's like the whole...
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The redemption
it's a fine
arc
line you have to walk.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so I'm 100% on a werewolf movie.
Though, you can make a werewolf that is just brutally savage and just, dismembering and disemboweling and doing whatever.
And the deadline picture of Aaron Taylor Johnson is just... Look at that guy.
Look at that guy.
That guy. Anyways, yeah, 100% in. I'm here for it.
All right. I am as well. Being co-written with Sean, who he co-wrote The Northman with. So I think that also intrigues me as well. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the, all right, Dr. Eggman, you want to make fucking Charles Dickens? That's fine. You want to make The Werewolf? You want to make Labyrinth 2? I'm kind of here for it at this point. You don't really need to hard sell me on it. Like, I might think it's really? You want to do a Christmas Carol? Like, fuck it, I'll watch it, man. So it's kind of, this is not that. This is very much this makes sense, and I'm stoked. So, very, very much in for this. So, Christmas of 2026, abandon your children. It's werewolf time. Your whole family. Just abandon your whole family because it's werewolf time. Nosferatu came calling, 2 years ago. I'm being beckoned. I must return. No. Anyway, let's move on. We had a double dose of Eggers. We're going to have a double dose of fighting game movie adaptations that we're talking about on this episode. We're going to split it up because we have a trailer, which we sort of talked about a little bit already on Andor. We didn't really get into it, but we talked about the existence of maybe a Mortal Kombat movie getting a sequel. And we have a trailer for it. We'll get there later. Right now, we're going to talk about a Street Fighter movie happening because it's one of those classic things. It's like, these fucking assholes made Mortal Kombat. We got a thing. Make our thing, you know? So we're getting a fucking Street Fighter movie, and it's fucking bonkers, dude. It's fucking bonkers. It feels like they announced the cast for this, and it just feels fucking made up. It feels like some shit post on Reddit, or I don't know, 4chan even, man. Like it's just the shittest post possible of just being like, well, we got this guy in it. What if we put John Cena in it or whatever? It's just fucking hilarious. So we're going to run through the cast of this fucking Street Fighter movie, which is being directed by Japanese-American director Kitao Sakurai, who directed the comedy Bad Trip, as well as some episodes of Twisted Metal, the Anthony Mackie video game television adaptation. So Bad Trip was a Netflix movie with Eric Andre and Lil Rel Howery and Tiffany Haddish, which I never watched, but it's a thing. I don't know if it was any good.
It's called
Got
Bad
generally
Country?
positive reviews from critics. Bad Trip. Real people, okay. Real pranks, real movie, apparently.
We'll try it.
Never saw it.
I'll try that. I like Eric Andre.
It's on Netflix. What could go wrong? Netflix putting a bad movie out? Not possible. Filming is set to begin this fall for Street Fighter. This is intended to come out next year, 2026 sometime. And here we go. Let's talk about who's going to be in Street Fighter. Andrew Koji is going to be playing Ryu, which is something that makes actually a lot of sense. He is a martial artist. He's done stuff on screen. I think the TV show Warrior, I think he had a main role in, which I've heard he's good in. He was in Snake Eyes. He played Storm Shadow in Snake Eyes, the Snake Eyes movie that they made. He was in Bullet Train. So, like, makes sense. Ryu, is obviously a classic Street Fighter character. Totally makes sense to be there. Noah Centineo is going to be playing Ken. You got Ryu, you also need Ken. And he he's done stuff. Movies. He was in Black Adam. I already talked about Black Adam. He was Atom Smasher in that. To All the Boys, Charlie's Angels. He's done things. He was going to be He-Man at one point, but not anymore. So now it's another guy. So he's going to be in it as Ken. All right. Things are pretty normal. Things they'll get a little wilder later on. Kalina Liang is going to be playing Chun-Li. She was in a Soderbergh movie that came out last year called Presence. Can't say I'm familiar with her, but I am familiar with Chun-Li. We did get a Chun-Li movie once upon a time with Kristen Crook.
She has some Smallville
fame,
right?
Smallville fame, Superman. She's got some thick thighs. She's got kind of the same sort of like magic things that she can shoot out of her hands like everyone can. It's fucking Street Fighter, But yes, thick thighs is probably a notable feature of Chun-Li typically. All right, here's where we're getting into the fun things. Roman Reigns is going to be Akuma, WWE megastar. Roman Reigns is in it. He's going to be playing Akuma.
We're ramping up.
A dark anti-hero who is the younger brother of Ken and Ryu's former master. So this character didn't come in until I think one of the 19 different versions of Street Fighter 2.
Fucking Akuma's wild, dude. He's badass.
Yeah. He's a badass looking guy, he's crazy. So, anyway, Roman Reigns is here. My man, Jason Momoa, is going to be here as Blanca. The fucking green guy, the green fucking guy with orange hair, crazy orange hair. He's going to be Blanca, an animalistic brawler who lives in the jungle. He's got electric superpowers. Fuck yeah, that's sick. I like that. That's pretty sick.
He's pretty much playing his Fast and Furious role.
Yes, probably, but he'll be green this time. Yeah, but pretty much yes. Otherwise, yes. David Dastmalchian is playing M. Bison. Apparently, they were eyeballing Walton Goggins for this role, but he was beat out, or he said no. He more likely said no. He said, "I'm I'm fucking good, man. They've got David Dastmalchian tapped to play.
He said, "I'll take that check. Thank you."
He's kind of like the ultimate villain, I guess, right? He's a big dictator guy. Wears the hat, famously portrayed by Raul Julia in the classic '90s Van Damme Street Fighter movie. Dastmalchian as M. Bison, the leader of the Shadaloo or Shadaloo. I think it depends on which version of Street Fighter. The Crime Syndicate. Country superstar Orville Peck is playing Vega, who is the masked character. I think typically Spanish, but Orville Peck very much not. But he is South African, and he does wear a mask as part of his musical persona. Yeah. So it works out well. He won't have to take the mask off for this. I think he did. I think he was in the revival of Cabaret on Broadway, and I feel like I don't know if he was actually. I feel like it was at least initially rumored that he was going to, commit to the bit and still keep the mask on for that, but maybe not happening. I'm not sure. Either way, he's going from masked countryman to playing the masked man with the claw. He's got like the claw weapon. Just come on, 50 Cent. 50 Cent's in this thing as Balrog, who is basically a boxer who looks like Mike Tyson, but for legal reasons is not Mike Tyson. And in fact, there's a classic thing that happened in Street Fighter where in Japan the names of characters were different, where M. Bison was, I think this character was originally named M. Bison, which is, maybe a little too close to M. Tyson. So they switched things around so that M. Bison became the dictator guy, Vega became
M. Bison.
the masked guy, and then I think it's Balrog, became something different. I don't know. They switched things around to maybe avoid legal issues. Let's put it that way. But 50 Cent's here. Can't tell you the last time I saw 50 Cent in a movie, but I guess the next time might be in 2026. We'll see. Cody Rhodes, more wrestlers. This might be a WWE co-production. Cody Rhodes is a wrestler who I think is maybe the current champion of something or another.
That's
Don't ask me things about wrestling.
Guy, right?
Yeah. He's going to be playing Guile. Classic American hero Guile, who this was the Van Damme character in the 90s Street Fighter. He's a U.S. Air Force pilot seeking vengeance against M. Bison. And finally, comedian, quote unquote, comedian and manosphere podcaster Andrew Schultz is playing Dan Hibiki. I don't know who the fuck this guy is, and I feel proud for saying that. So I had to look this guy up, and I was like, oh, he's people know who this guy is. Maybe you know who this guy is. I don't know, but he's a classic. Oh, I voted for someone last year. I'm like, no, he's not doing anything he said. He's doing all these other things. I'm like, you sure about that? So anyway, neither here nor there, but this guy's in it as fucking Dan. So there you go. There's your Street Fighter cast. What do you think? You pretty pumped for that?
I think this sounds absolutely wild. Sounds like something that would be very funny to watch. Very entertaining, at the very least.
Is there any way that this is not a piece of shit? I mean, it has to be entertaining at a minimum. Like the threshold is like at least as good as that Mortal Kombat movie we got a few years ago. It's not good, but it was fun.
I enjoyed that first Mortal Kombat quite a bit. I liked it quite a bit. It was it knows what it's trying to be. You know what I mean?
Sure. And this
self-aware,
I think, needs to be in the same vein. Like,
yeah,
you definitely cannot take yourself too seriously when that's your fucking cast.
I mean,
it's just not possible.
To cast Andrew Schultz,
which again means nothing to me, but from what I now know from having to do research for this, be like, who's this guy? Being like, oh, okay, that's a choice. All right.
Andrew Schultz is I don't know what the internet thinks of his comedy. I've seen him. I know who he is. And he makes me I giggle quite a bit, but for Street Fighter, that's an interesting choice.
yeah, it's a bit of a pivot, huh?
So I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
We'll see what happens with it. It's going to be interesting. That's for certain. I don't think there's any question about that. So
Interesting thing for, trying to compete with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. So, all right, 2 more headlines. Another kind of weird one, I think, for this next one, and then we'll end with one that's just like, yeah, that makes sense. We're getting a new Judge Dredd movie. Pretty cool. Could be pretty cool. It is going to be directed by Taika Waititi, sometimes known as Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi is directing a Judge Dredd movie with a script from Drew Pearce, who has written things like The Fall Guy, Hobbs and Shaw, Hotel Artemis, which he also directed. We covered that a while ago. Helped with the story for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation and wrote on Iron Man 3 as well. So that's your kind of pedigree there for this Judge Dredd script. But yeah, Taika Waititi is definitely, to me, an interesting fit. Not an obvious one, I wouldn't think, for what we would typically think Judge Dredd might be. But maybe this is a different version of Judge Dredd. Maybe this is a different take, or maybe this is Taika Waititi breaking away from, some of the silliness that he sometimes brings to his movies. I don't know. How do you feel about this?
This feels to me like they're gonna take the Judge Dredd character and like make it relevant in the way that a Dredge character can be relevant. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like,
like for today's times kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that there's a humorous
should have gotten Andrew Schultz for that.
There's a humorous way of portray. No. Like, for example, when I hear in the news when people say what they say, I say, "Oh, well, that kind of sounds like the kind of Judge Dredd way of like."
I see. Okay, no, that's fair enough.
You know what I'm saying?
A certain
it's completely
three-letter
fucking
acronym
ridiculous.
Type of organization that now has more money than our entire military. That maybe kind of feels like they're trying to be.
I am the law.
Yeah. That's fair. No, you're not wrong. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's a fair point. And I think Taika Waititi probably has a good finger on the pulse for maybe telling something like that. I guess it's tough for me to reconcile in some ways because I'm just like, man, that Carl Urban movie is so fucking good. And like tonally,
it's very good.
It's just fucking perfect. That's like a lean, mean 90-minute movie that gets in, gets out, and it's fucking hardcore. It's like it's basically The Raid, but with Judge Dredd, and it's fucking sick.
It's incredible.
It's so fucking cool. So I'm like, wow, I don't know. You're gonna like, how do you top that? And I guess maybe the answer is.
You make it a political commentary.
Do something different.
Yeah. I'm here for that. I think it could be good. I think it could be really good. I think it could be topical without being like, it's almost like a Jojo Rabbit. I think it could be Jojo Rabbit just ramped up.
That's true. That you know what I mean? That obviously had a lot of humor and literally had a fictional version of Hitler being played by Taika Waititi, yet still somehow was emotional and hard-hitting when it needed to be. So like it did have a pretty good balance of things. So that's not a bad example. I think the recent things that we like think about are like Thor, Love and Thunder, where it's just like you've gone too far in that direction. You had the balance and then you've now let it slip away from you, and it's like, you worry that it like that's the sort of thing where I'm like
I think
that and Judge Dredd do not mix.
I think he takes the character of Judge Dredd and like what it means to be judge, jury, and executioner of the law, and he kind of like flip that on its head to make it,
Mama is not the law.
Yeah, it's completely.
I am the law.
It's completely ridiculous. Shut the fuck up,
I break the law. I am the law. That's the classic Stallone adaptation. Which is also
I need to know who Judge Dredd is, though.
Yeah, right. That's a very important. Are we gonna see that fucker without his helmet on? Like how are they gonna do that? So
we'll see.
I don't know. We'll see. TBD. Judge Dredd, Taika Waititi. It's apparently happening. All right, our last headline. As I said, it's that makes sense kind of headline, but I think worthwhile nonetheless. A Quiet Place Part 3. It's happening. John Krasinski is back as writer, director, and producer. So it's happening. July 9th, 2027, we will be getting A Quiet Place Part 3. So it's now been, I guess last year that A Quiet Place Day 1 came out with Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn. I'm not sure if you ended up seeing that. I feel like you did in theaters at a minimum. I did catch it. I enjoyed that quite a bit, but obviously it was a little bit of a sidestep for the franchise going back to, as the title would imply, Day 1. So this will be a follow-up. I think you did at least watch Part 1 and Part 2. I feel like we covered both of them for the pod, if I'm not mistaken, and I kind of feel like both were pretty good movies. So I think that, to me, Part 3 totally makes sense. Krasinski coming back gives me a bit more faith that, he's got an idea for how to make the story, especially now that it's been a few years. Like, it's not like a let's pump this out as fast as possible kind of sequel. So yeah, I could see this working. What do you think? Are you interested in more of this universe?
The one that came out this most recent year, I haven't seen yet. But I think that there's a story worth telling. I mean, presumably A Quiet Place Part 3 would be a sequel to the second one, and
presumably, yes,
pushing these aliens off planet. You know what I mean, or whatever we have to do to win. So yeah, I'm here for that. It sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will have a couple years to wait, but that's okay. I think, take your time, get it right. Make it, the best sequel, maybe the last one. This isn't a franchise. I don't think I need Part 4, Part 5, Part 6 necessarily, but certainly certainly 3 would be all right. If you can end it in a way that it's just like, yay, the Earth is sort of unfucked for the future. That might be like a nice hopeful note to leave things on, but yeah, we'll see. We shall see. All right, let's move on to some trailers. Let's start with Wicked for Good, which we got an official trailer for. It is the second part, the conclusion to Wicked. It's the sequel to Wicked Part 1, which is now called Wicked for Good because we're doing the Mission Impossible naming scheme of Part 1. Fuck that shit. But this is coming to theaters this November. November 21st. Just trying to find the exact date for you. Wicked was, I think, a surprise for both of us, right? That first one was something that didn't really look very good from its marketing materials, and certainly was a surprisingly good film, obviously with good performances, good music, and actual production design, which was hidden from the marketing materials and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it quite a bit.
In theory, this is more of the same, right? This is a continuation. I think it was either filmed simultaneously or basically right around the same time. Cast is all back. More music. It's the rest of the story. It's the second act, the second half of the Broadway show. So how are you feeling? Are you excited for Wicked for Good? Does this look like it's gonna win you?
It looks like
over
more
this
of
time
the
too?
same. I think. I do think that the I don't know who they hired for fucking marketing for these movies, but I don't know.
Do you feel like this marketing, this trailer particularly, is better than the trailers that we got for the first one?
Yeah, I do. But some of that is kind of because I know that the first movie was better than what I was marketed. You know what I mean? I think if I watch this, I don't know. I'm kind of throwing marketing out the window and I'm excited to see how the story ends.
Sure. You're invested at this point, so now.
Exactly.
And it's only one more. It's not, it's not a 10 movie investment. It's not it's another 2+ hours probably. How they managed to get the 3-hour musical into 5 hours, I don't know. It's the Peter Jackson method of making movies or adapting things. But
that first movie was a whole lot better than what I thought it was going to be. Here for this one, I'm not entirely impressed by the marketing because it feels, I don't know, feels kind of the same. I feel I feel like the same way I felt like the other one. I don't know. It doesn't impress me a whole lot. So, but I think the movie's going to conclude. I think it's going to be a good movie experience. That's what I'll say.
So, do you intend to maybe take a theater trip for this? Oh, because you watch the other one at home though, right? Is that
I watched the other one at home. Yeah.
Okay, so you think that's the way to go? Is that how you're leaning?
It's what? When is it coming out?
It's November, so it's not anything urgent. I'm just curious if you feel like I like that first one well enough that I don't know, maybe Sarah and I
decide what movie I will be watching with my wife at the movie theater. Okay. This or Mortal Kombat.
It's probably going to be this.
We're watching Mortal Kombat. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
they ain't gonna say that shit in Wicked, No,
so. You're damn right. We're watching Mortal Kombat in IMAX. Anyways,
okay.
So
all right,
that's where I'm at.
Okay. Well, around the same time frame, November 7th, I guess, a couple weeks earlier, we're getting a new Edgar Wright film starring Glenn Powell called The Running Man, which is an adaptation of a Stephen King novel. So many names I just threw at you. I'm overwhelming everyone. What do you think about this?
The Running Man. The Running Man is... I can't capture the same energy from the trailer. The Running Man. I don't know how they do it, but man, the energy in this trailer is unreal. I really feel like this is the culmination of, it's like the pinnacle of this director. His name escapes me, like most
Edgar
things
Wright.
do.
Edgar
Wright. This is like the most Edgar Wright. At least this is the most Edgar Wright trailer an Edgar Wright movie can be, I think.
It promises that this will be the most Edgar Wright a movie can be if it can live up to what the trailer promises anyway.
Like if you say Edgar Wright, this is going to be the movie I'm going to think of. I think that's the way that this trailer makes me feel that way anyways.
Okay. And that's like, Edgar Wright's done a lot of good fucking shit, Baby Driver, like the Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, like Scott Pilgrim is very stylish. Like he's got a pretty good filmography. So for this to perhaps jump to the top of the list would be.
It looks like
the
Baby Driver action. It looks like the Baby Driver action. It looks like the humor. It looks like he's got all the humor of all of his movies, or at least most of them, anyways. And I don't know, just looks like a perfect storm. I think he's got the cast behind him too in this. His cast looks outstanding.
I was just gonna say. I fully agree with everything you said. Like it does feel like a perfect package of all the sensibilities that we know Edgar Wright can bring to the table and deliver on. But he's got Glenn Powell leading the charge here. He's never had that before. Sorry, Simon Pegg, but this is Glenn Powell. This is Mr. Handsome Glenn Powell we're talking about.
That fucking chin, that jawline, dude. That jawline.
Yeah, yeah. He's got Josh Brolin.
Brolin with fucking eyeliner too. You see the eyeliner on that guy?
And that's different. I don't know if we've seen that from Josh Brolin.
It's
before,
very.
So that's a little bit.
Josh Brolin reminds me totally of the guy from Substance, the guy that eats the shrimp a little bit.
Oh yeah. It's Dennis Quaid, right? Yeah.
I'm getting Dennis Quaid vibes a little bit.
Sure. Which is usually, that's not a compliment, but seems very fitting for what this is, right? Who we got? Coleman Domingo, Lee Pace, Jamie Lawson, Michael Cera. We see Michael Cera at the end of this trailer, which looks like excellent. The water gun electrocution seems pretty. Yeah, it looks so stylish and like the best way possible for an Edgar Wright movie. I have a good feeling about this. It's there's technically been there was another adaptation of this. I think with Arnold, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Back in the 90s.
Totally.
Which I think I've maybe seen once and haven't seen in a while. This doesn't make me think this is just the same. This feels like, no, this feels fresh and kind of out there and kind of unlike anything that we've seen in a little while. I don't really, you know what I mean? I can't really think of anything in recent memory that I guess Bullet Train kind of had this sort of zaniness or something like this seems to have. But I don't know. I don't know. Just the game show idea makes it just feel, I don't know, just looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
I didn't know Stephen King wrote this book either. It might be worth a listen on the Audible, I think.
Yeah. Oh, or did he write it as Richard Bachman under his pseudonym when he...
Oh.
I don't really know why. I guess maybe he was bored. I'm not really sure.
Is that what he did for real?
There's a few books that he published. This one, The Long Walk, which is also getting a movie, an adaptation this year at some point. I don't know exactly why. Like, I don't know if it was just that, like, Stephen King was so big that he wanted to, like, see if he could just do it. I really don't know.
That's interesting.
I'm not sure. Or if it was, like, too edgy even for, like, Stephen King stuff, which I don't know. I mean, like, there's some weird shit in it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know if that really makes sense either. So I don't know. I don't know why he did it. That's a tangent for another episode, perhaps. maybe if we cover The Running Man, we could look into the backstory as our fun fact of what the fuck happened with Richard Bachman. So we'll leave that story. We'll leave that tale for another day.
Maybe when we record The Running Man.
When we record, this comes out November 7th. I think it's getting, IMAX Dolby premium format release. And I don't know about you. I think I might be inclined to visit a cinema around that time. So and it's going to be. And if you do as well, then we'll reconvene and we'll talk about it. And we'll talk about Richard Bachman too, apparently. So you heard it here first. November 7th, The Running Man. Any final thoughts for you?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, let's move on. And I think you know what it's time for.
Mortal Kombat 2.
You're goddamn right. Mortal Kombat 2. And this is Carl Urban's
incredible.
Here, he's Johnny Cage. Uncaged Fury.
Johnny Cage. Did you watch the Johnny Cage anime?
I haven't watched any of the new ones that they've done, but I always see them on HBO Max. Formerly known as HBO Max, and I think I should watch those sometimes, and then I never do. So, was it pretty good? Pretty good Johnny Cage one?
Pretty fun. I thought it was pretty fun. It was pretty good.
Pretty solid. But is it going to be as fun as Mortal Kombat 2?
No.
Carl Urban as Johnny Cage and bringing back pretty much everyone from the first one, I guess, that survived anyway. What do you think? You seem pretty jazzed on this. It did come up on the last episode. It's come up already multiple times in this episode. Mortal Kombat 2. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I think it's got a full red band trailer here. I think it is 120% excellent. I think it's something that knows what it is. They cast it. The cast knows what it is. Everybody 100% knows what they're doing here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this feels like a little bit like the first one was like, we're going to do Mortal Kombat without actually doing the Mortal Kombat part. And this one's like, okay, now we're going to do the Mortal Kombat part of things. And I'm like, yeah, you probably should have done it in the first place. But it also does feel like it's leaning more into like, let's put Raiden in a fucking Raiden costume. Let's put, everyone in actual shit, like the first one had moments.
Fatality.
Where it was a little afraid to like fully push into the fantastical direction of this is Mortal Kombat. Of course it's fucking insane and ridiculous. And like this has a little bit of being, because it's Johnny Cage being like, what the fuck is going on? And like that's a totally logical way to do it, but I feel like this just feels like maybe there's more money behind it. Maybe there's more confidence in like this direction, or it's a sequel and like they don't have to be as restrained about doing it. It just kind of feels like it's going for it, man. Like we're getting everything here. We've obviously got Scorpion and sort of Sub-Zero, I guess maybe Noob Saibot looking motherfucker.
I don't know.
Jax, Liu Kang, Baraka. I see Baraka at one point.
At one point he
Kahn.
says, I think Johnny Cage says, yeah, fuck that. Like he's got no interest in fighting some guy with whole head of teeth and stuff. You know what I mean? He's
Katana,
like, I'm done.
Sonya Blade. I'm just going to name all the Mortal Kombat characters right now. Oh, how could I forget? Cole Young. He's back for 1/2 second in this trailer. We'll see what happens with him. But you're making Johnny Cage your main character. You've got Carl Urban here. I'm kind of in with that. Like that's that. Maybe that's what they should have just done in the first place instead of having the weird audience insert character of like, I can make armor now. I'm like, okay, who are you? But and like thinking about it, like Hiroyuki Sanada, man, like obviously now we're in a post Shogun world. Like it's like it was always cool to have him there in the first place, but now it's like really fucking cool. I'm like, this guy can do so much better than this, but he still came back. That's awesome.
Yeah, 110% here for that. Mortal Kombat 2 is going to be great.
All right. Well, I think we actually maybe it was literally last episode that we talked about it, or we talked about it previously. But this is pretty close to a birthday present for you, October 24th. So it's a little late. It's a little late.
3 days.
But it is.
I'll take it.
It is your birthday weekend. Let's put it that way. So what more could you ask? Take a trip down to Port Orlando. Catch Mortal Kombat 2 in IMAX. Take the babies. They'll love it. They're gonna have a great time. It's just rated R. You can get
that date trip
parental
with
supervision.
Some, Scotch eggs. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. You could do that. So, all right. Well, that's Mortal Kombat 2. So the next trailer I put on here, and then I kind of had the thought of, oh, maybe we shouldn't watch this trailer. So, because it's, I guess, potentially spoilers for a thing that neither of us watched, I'm pretty sure. But it was actually not the original trailer I wanted to put in here. I wanted to ask you, did you happen to catch the Odyssey trailer at any point during your recent theater trips? Or
I did.
Did it manage to elude you? Okay. Well, let me put it this way. Do you want to talk about that?
Like, yeah, I'd like to talk about that.
Because I originally put it on the script, and then I was like, oh shit, maybe he hasn't seen it. Maybe if I can,
I've seen it.
Maybe I can find a version of it on the internet, and he might be willing to watch that. And I scoured the internet, and like they are fucking scrubbing, like they're doing a miraculous job of scrubbing the internet from the existence of the Odyssey teaser, which is now exclusively playing in theaters. So let me go ahead and get out of the way of saying. What I replaced it with was the official trailer for Gen V Season 2, which is starting on Prime Video September 17th. It's the Boys spinoff, which I don't think either of us watched Season 1 of. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it.
Okay, so what I was going to ask, had you watched the trailer, and you may have, I don't know, was, are you feeling like the pull to like, oh shit, maybe I should go check the thing? Because I feel like your approach has been, I will just watch The Boys and I will be content with The Boys. Do you still feel that way?
I still feel that way, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to say right now, I do want to watch Gen V at some point, but I'm still, I think, a season behind on The Boys. So who knows when it's going to happen. But for those who are kind of following the whole, saga of The Boys plus Gen V and stuff, what I can tell you is Season 2 is right around the corner. New episodes dropping starting September 17th. But we're going to move on and talk about the fucking Odyssey. Because, well, I mean, why not, right? Why not talk about it? I think I've seen it a couple times now.
I've seen it twice.
Yeah, I think I got it in front of Superman one time, and then I think I got it in front of Fantastic Four one time as well. Which obviously we're not talking about Fantastic Four, but in the near future, hopefully. So yeah, it's the next fucking thing from Christopher Nolan. It's a pretty a light teaser, I think, overall in terms of giving you a lot from the movie. It seems to be mostly a dialogue between Tom Holland and John Bernthal's characters. So
yeah,
with a little bit extra,
how does
some
a prison
shots and stuff
contain this man?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude,
a man like that. Yeah. So what do you? I know you're excited for the movie, but what did this teaser do for you in terms of your excitement levels?
Did it kind of like sowed the like? What do you? So. For those who have not seen the trailer or the teaser, I guess it's more of a teaser at this point.
It's very much a teaser. That we're a whole year away from this movie coming out. Like I think it was technically attached to Jurassic World, which I'm pretty sure neither of us saw in theaters. But it's then been kind of, I think the theaters are just like,
and I haven't,
we're gonna put it on in front of other movies. So.
I think I need to listen to the Odyssey, to be fair, or to read the Odyssey. I probably won't read it. I'll probably listen to it before I read it. But
sure.
The point is, this teaser really like sows like the I don't know, just like the gravity of it's got the guy laying on like a broken boat, and he's like the only prison that can contain this guy is literally the ocean, you know?
Yeah.
It's brutal as shit. And you have Tom Holland over in the corner crying, you know, and it's like, what have you heard? Is it his dad? Is that who he is? I can't remember who Tom. I can't remember.
I think Tom Holland is Telemachus, who is Odysseus's son. If that answers your question.
Yeah, I think exactly. Where's my dad?
Yeah.
Where's my dad?
Yeah.
You know, and then like, you know, what kind of prison can hold a man like that? Well, the fucking ocean can. And I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a spectacular fucking thing. I'm so excited. I do need to listen to the Odyssey though. So
yeah. Well, you got time. This is.
What did Anna? What did Anna have to think about it?
I mean, I think.
She have thoughts?
I don't think she's. She probably does have thoughts. I don't know that she's super jazzed about it. Various things like the poster she said bothered her. There's like little things that's just like.
I just want to know,
like it's like one of those things where it's just like, you know, if this is the kind of thing that you lived and breathed, you know, like, you know, if it's getting, you know, things are getting changed or, you know, moved around, like the statue apparently is like, well, the statues wouldn't have looked like that in that time period, so it doesn't make sense for the statue to look like that in the poster. You know, to me, there's stuff where it's just like, does Christopher Nolan know that there's more than one font in the world? You know, stuff like that. Where I'm just kind of like, okay. And like the way this teaser is edited is just like the most Nolan-ass shit. Where it's just like very from Christopher Nolan, you know, and it's just, it's kind of,
it's an interpretation.
It's not bombastic in any way.
At the end of the day, it's an interpretation.
I agree. And I think that I'm excited to see what Nolan does with this. I don't, like, you know.
It looks like he's pulling shit from his actors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks
and he's
like
got a lot of good ones to do that with, you know. Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, Robert Pattinson. The list goes on, and I do mean the list goes on. It's a long list. We'd be here a long time talking about it. But
you know, just the idea of asking where's my father at, and then he says, what kind of prison can hold that man? Just the whole, just the. You take those few seconds of dialogue, and you take those few seconds of like what you see on screen, and yeah, there's a lot of ways you can interpret that, you know, and like interpret the story of the Odyssey and this and that, but just those few seconds is very good storytelling. You know what I mean?
To me, there's like almost too little to like really have any major takeaways, like, because it really is mostly just one scene, you know, with like less than a minute of dialogue, with like maybe 2 or 3 other like shots that you're kind of seeing here and there. So like it is pretty bare bones in terms of like what it's showing you. Like it's a true teaser, not telling you what this is, and not really giving, I don't think really even giving the greatest sense of like, what's the movie going to be like? Like the actual movie is going to feel very, very different from this. But it's just enough to be like, it's coming. Nolan's back and he's doing something big this time. Like, you know, like here's the smallest little thing that we can give you right now for this movie that just started shooting, you know, maybe a couple months earlier, and, you know, isn't anywhere close to being ready for you to really see.
It feels massive.
Right. This feels like small potatoes, but in a way that is like you ain't ready for this shit yet. And that's kind of the impression I got was like just buckle up because you ain't seen nothing yet. Like that's how I read this teaser. Is just like
I got goosebumps when I saw this trailer. Ready. I'm pumped.
Get ready.
I think it's gonna be awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. I look forward to whatever Nolan brings to the table. The Christopher variety here, not of the Meadows variety. Well, I look forward to seeing what he brings to the table as well. But he's not quite ready to direct the Odyssey, from what I understand. He needs a few years before he's ready for that. That's the Odyssey. So we'll be checking back in over the next year, obviously leading up to it. We'll be getting obviously probably another teaser, maybe another full trailer, and I don't know. It's still a good ways away. So this is just a little bit to, keep us, talking about it. But the conversation's gonna keep going for a while before we actually get it. So we'll leave it there and end our trailers with the next entry in the DC universe, which is the second season of Peacemaker, coming August 21st to HBO Max. It is obviously a continuation of the first season of Peacemaker, but it's a weird sort of thing where that was part of the old universe, the Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck and Jason Momoa as Aquaman universe, and this is kind of on the other side of things in a post-Superman world where Henry Cavill isn't Superman, etc. So it's kind of operating in weird territory, but it is part of the canon. At least season 2 is part of the canon. I think the way that James Gunn has basically said is like, if there's anything referenced from season 1, it's canon. If it doesn't get mentioned, don't worry about it. So I do think that there's probably an element of like, if you didn't watch season 1 of Peacemaker, you can probably show up to this and be fine, So it's kind of weird. So I did or did not watch season 1 of Peacemaker.
No Peacemaker.
No Peacemaker for you. I think I started it and didn't finish. I'd be curious to go back.
It was good.
I heard it was good as well. John Cena obviously is pretty funny. So what do you think? Do you think that you would be interested in season 2, or are you kind of like, I'll stick with maybe the movies for now. I'll stick with Superman and maybe something, whatever's coming out next year, on the DC side of things.
Yeah, I think with the amount of stuff I have to take, like intake, I think I'm okay with not watching it until it becomes something. I don't know, until it feels like a major thing. You know what I mean?
Gotso. Yeah.
So that's
all right. I mean, that's fair. Totally fair. Did you watch the trailer for this?
I did.
Okay. Did it? So it's not. I mean, it's not pulling you enough to say, "Holy fuck, I have to watch this immediately."
No. The first trailer seemed good, and I think it got a good rapport from everybody that watched it. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I got a lot of stuff to watch. You know what I mean?
that's the problem. That's the problem we face. Is just there's just too much out there. I would like to go in on this. I do feel like it's fun. John Cena's obviously having a good time, but there is a lot out there. I'm like behind on Marvel stuff now, which is rare. Still Star Wars stuff I haven't watched, both live action and animated. So it's kind of, I don't know. And I have more free time than you, and certainly probably a better capacity for watching stuff like this. And even then, it's obviously still kind of too much to bear at a certain point. But I don't know. This is coming out there. Same thing, kind of what I mentioned with Gen V is like, all right, I might be behind and maybe I'm not going to get around to it right away. But for folks that are like, maybe watch Superman and want to see what the next thing is from DC and DC Studios, like, this is very much James Gunn himself hands-on with Peacemaker. I think he wrote most, if not all, of this season. May have directed some episodes. I'd have to fact check that. Yeah, it looks like he directed at least 3 and he wrote every episode. So like, this is full-on continuation of the DCU. So we're going to be getting into Superman in a minute. But, if you want more, maybe this is the direction you need to turn for Peacemaker Season 2. So yeah, August 21st, HBO Max. And as I said, it's actually been less than a minute, but it's time to talk about Superman if you're ready.
Totally
Totally tubular time for Superman. All right. Well, what I can tell you about Superman.
A terrific time for Superman.
A terrific time. Wow, I really missed an opportunity there, didn't I? Shit. Quick, let's redo it. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have time for that. We've already been here for a long time. Let's put it that way. We have to talk about Superman. We must talk about Superman. It is exclusively in theaters as of recording this. Will probably still be in theaters as of the release of this episode on the podcast feed, but I do believe it is coming to video on demand very, very soon for us. It's not out yet, but I think it's the 15th of August. So there's a solid chance that it's out on VOD by the time you're listening to this. Let's put it that way. So you can certainly watch it that way. When we get to recommendation, we will maybe address whether you should watch it that way or another way, but that's a conversation for later. Superman was written and directed by James Gunn. Stars David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, Eddie Gathegi, Anthony Carrigan, Nathan Fillion, Isabella Merced, Skylar Gisondo, Wendell Pierce, Sarah Sampaio, and Maria Gabriela de Faria. When Superman gets drawn into conflicts at home and abroad, his actions are questioned, giving tech billionaire Lex Luthor the opportunity to get the Man of Steel out of the way for good. Ooh. Should we kick things off with a box office breakdown, perhaps? Yes, box office breakdown. Let's break it down. It might have said as much probably at the beginning of the episode. This is the kickstart to the real true kickstart to the DC universe. Creature Commandos came out on then Max, now HBO Max. It's an animated thing, kind of rated R, not really intended to be like obviously a huge let's bring everyone in kind of movie in the way that something like making a Superman movie I would think strives to be, something that certainly is intended to have mass appeal and, really set the stage for this DC universe in a way that like, hey, remember those shitty movies that we've put out for the past 10 years? We're not doing that anymore. We're going to give you something different, something, tonally different, something, that maybe you like this time. Maybe a little bit closer to those Marvel movies that everyone seems to like, although they seem to like them less and less these days. But yeah, again, conversation for another day. But Superman had a very nice $125 million opening weekend domestically. And it's actually, I think, which was good for number one for the weekend, just to be clear. It's played fairly well in terms of its legs. Weekend to weekend, it dropped 53%. And its second weekend, which was again good for number one. I don't think it really had much it didn't have much new competition. I think Jurassic World was a week before it, so that was kind of its biggest carryover competition. But it's actually had like really nice legs domestically kind of through its run so far, which we're now sitting at a month plus into its run, which I will say kind of makes it weird that they're putting it on VOD so quickly, but I assume there's some sort of, numbers that tell WB that it, your theatrical window has, you've had it in theaters long enough, put it on, VOD, people will pay $30 to watch it at home.
They've got
metrics,
will make you
money somehow. They've got something, I'm sure, that points in that direction. So it's a $225 million reported budget. Its total worldwide take as of now is $562 million worldwide, and $322 million of that is from the domestic take. So 57% coming from the domestic side, which is to say that internationally it's not playing as like well as it is here. And James Gunn's basically talked about this. It's got
to be expected, right?
It's a tough time for the perception of America right now, and Superman is very traditionally considered a very, a traditional American hero, and so he's chalked it up to that. I mean, I think, maybe it's superhero fatigue, maybe it's a lack of trust in DC, from people that are like, all they do is put out shit. This will probably be more of the same.
It's also not about
I think
a villain.
There's a number of right. Yeah. Well,
people tend to like that for some reason. I don't quite get it.
Well, they didn't like it with Joker Fudafafa. But they liked it the first time around.
Fell flat.
They liked it. They really, really liked it the first time around. And they're like, wait, Wait, are you insulting me, the person that liked the first Joker movie, and making this movie? You're making a mockery of me and my tastes. How dare you? I will not like this. I still haven't watched it, and probably never will. But anyway, this is doing quite well. I think it is safe to say, a lot of pressure on James Gunn and Peter Safran and and everyone involved in making this movie to this needs to be successful for our DC universe to continue and have an actual future that doesn't feel like it's doomed from the start. And so I think that all in all, while it's not a runaway success, I think it's going to turn a small, modest profit, good enough that maybe, just maybe, we'll talk about it very, very, in a few moments, but maybe they can start to earn back the audience's trust in DC, as a company in terms of the adaptations of these characters. I mean, we've had good things. The Batman came out a few years ago, was obviously quite great, but that's sort of separate from this too. I don't know, I think all in all, it's a good result. So I'll leave it there so that we can move on to non-spoilers and talk about Superman. So, I guess maybe we could start by picking up this idea that Mr. Meadows went to a movie theater in Michigan. So,
I did.
So how was that? Are they about the same as they are in Florida?
The movie theater I saw this at, I think may be the biggest movie theater I've ever been to. It was enormous. Okay. I think it was a 30 screen auditorium. It was, or 30 screen theater.
That's pretty fucking big. And it's funny because you sent the picture, I feel like, when you parked of the parking lot, and it was fucking empty. And so
completely empty.
It was what, Friday afternoon-ish, something like that you saw, Thursday afternoon maybe that you saw it.
Yeah, I think I saw it. I would have saw it Friday. I saw it on a Friday. Was it Thursday? I saw it on Thursday. Yeah, I saw it Thursday right around noon.
Gotcha. So, I mean, it's not a super weird time to see a movie, So, I don't know. It's a little... Maybe Michiganders just don't care about Superman that much. I don't know.
Well, I mean, at a 30 screen movie theater, you think they'd have, people watching something all the time. You know what I mean? How do you justify
inevitably,
building that large?
Right, yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so massive movie theater. I showed up, and there wasn't a lot of people there and anything, and then I go through the doors, and the doors are held open. Okay, it's kind of weird,
Wait, this is just to go into the whole theater itself?
Yeah, and the box office is behind, there's a set of doors, and then there's the box office. I guess because it's Michigan, it gets fucking cold. You don't want people waiting out in the freezing cold.
Right, that makes sense. Yes, it gets cold, sure.
Yeah, so it's it's almost like a storefront. You walk through the doors, and then once you're inside the doors, there's a holding area where you go to the box office and you get your tickets, and then you walk through the other set of doors. And you can think of MovieCo, but the box office is behind a staging area, kind of.
Gotcha.
It's kind of weird. Anyways, but it's held up. The doors were held open. I walked through those doors. And I went straight to the movie theater, and there was, I don't think there was anybody in the theater,
nice.
Which was pretty outstanding.
Eat all the corn
and I saw it
that you want, and won't disturb anyone.
No. Saw it in Dolby too, so that was pretty sweet.
Very cool. Very nice.
But I think I know why nobody was catching a Dolby viewing of this movie. It's because the goddamn air conditioning was broken.
Ooh,
it was hot. It was very hot. And in my as I've aged, I'm not morbidly obese, but I've got some neck rolls going on, and okay. I was sweating
pretty good.
Oh, sweating like a pig. It was bad. Yeah, it was bad hot. The screen was big, good quality screen, good quality sound, as you'd expect from a Dolby deal.
Dolby is usually pretty good. You usually get the traditional Dolby experience where you go. IMAX is a little bit more hit and miss. You can get some shitty IMAX screens.
Yeah. However, the screen, it was almost like you take if you were to hang a sheet up, right, from the ceiling, right?
Yeah.
And then you were to put a nail in the screen to hold it to the wall. Imagine you would have that dimple, right, where you're pinned up the screen. There were 3 of those. And I found that incredibly distracting. It was in the left-hand side, and it was like they nailed it to the wall, a thing that was hanging from the ceiling.
It's fucking distracting.
Yeah, it was
probably hung up there by a bunch of fucking amateurs.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck was going on there, but it wasn't very pleasing to my eye. I could not help, my eye could not help but like fucking center on that. It was pretty rough. However, this movie,
experience aside, sweating fucking buckets the entire time, but maybe it was worth it.
This movie overcame no air conditioning and 3 dimples in the screen, which I think says a lot about this movie. I think that's incredibly high praise that I can sit in an air conditioning-less like room and look at a defective
our
screen.
Listeners will recall that when we talked about Captain America: Brave New World, your mind was very distracted by the drive home taking an hour, and that really detracted from your overall experience. So I don't know which one is worse, an hour-long drive home or the fact that you have no fucking air conditioning for 2 hours. But yes, point being, if it can overcome that, and the focus is all right. So I had some issues with the viewing experience, but let me tell you about this movie. Then we're in business,
Yeah, the movie was just oh man, it's been a long time, I think. Well, not a long time. I mean, I guess we had Thunderbolts, right? Thunderbolts was pretty dang good. But
like superhero stuff, or
superhero stuff,
just theater stuff generally. Okay.
Thunderbolts was a very good movie. But I mean, it's
pretty different from this, though.
It was, it's definitely different from this. This is a Thunderbolts is a comic book property, right? And they made a like a modern superhero movie with it, right? And it was really good. They did a really good job with that. They did a good job with the characterization and stuff, and hashtag just look at Thunderbolts, the Thunderbolts episode. But this movie is a straight up comic book movie. This is comic booky movie.
Sure.
And I think that's something that really elevates it too. It knows what it is. It knows what it's covering. Like, it doesn't shy away in costume design.
Right.
Costume design is, I said at the top of the episode here,
this motherfucker's wearing underwear on the outside of a suit.
Superman's wearing underwear. You got a guy that's got a T on his face and wearing leather jackets and stuff. You got Nathan Fillion with this ridiculous fucking haircut.
The fucking bowl cut.
Oh my god, the haircut.
Comic book accurate. All right, it's incredible. We love it.
All of it. Like it knows that it's a comic book character and doesn't shy. It knows it's a comic book movie and it doesn't shy away from that. And it was it was just so good, Anyways, you can tell it's a James Gunn movie.
Yes,
it's very James Gunny.
Yes.
I think, I think he really he really nails like an ensemble movie. Like this is a Superman movie through and through, right? And he knows how the audience works. He knows what storylines to really pick up on and how to really develop a character and how to like touch the heartstrings and stuff and how to make people laugh and this and that. But I think this movie is very different if it's not an ensemble movie, right? Like Superman has friends. Superman is not friends by himself in this movie. You know what I mean?
Sort of like a gang of justice, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Like Man of Steel. I can't remember anybody in Man of Steel except Kevin Costner.
I think it's generally been true for every Superman movie. I mean, Batman v Superman, I guess, aside, obviously had the Trinity in it. But that was the sequel to Man of Steel, which was very much a standalone Superman movie. And in the Christopher Reeve ones,
yeah,
there wasn't a Batman, running around in those. There wasn't a Mr. Terrific or a Green Lantern. Like, they were very much insular. Superman is the superhero of this world. He's kind of the only one that really exists. And this is so different, by design from anything that we've seen. But I didn't mean to totally cut you off. But
no,
but I agree. I mean, like Man of Steel is you've got I guess you've got the mainstays, right? You've got Superman in it, you've got Lois in it, but yeah, beyond that, you've got Kevin Costner, right? I guess don't save me, Clark, don't save me, or don't save the dog, whatever the fuck I'm doing, whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to go get myself killed so that no one knows that you have powers. Stupid.
They're ridiculous. Especially when he moves so fucking fast, too. He goes so fast. Like, nobody will even tell you move. You move so fast. Anyways. Yeah, so it begs the question, like, who is Superman without these other people, right? Like, all those people that make Superman who he is, help him, like, be identifiable, right? Be relatable. And I think it really elevates the storytelling and stuff whenever you incorporate him or incorporate your main character with a group of other people, right? I think that's important. And I think that James Gunn really understands that. I mean, that's really present in all of his movies. All of his movies, like you say, are kind of like, it's like a gang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A justice gang, maybe. Anyways, the Superman theme is just iconic. It is iconic in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Look, if John Williams has made a brilliant, iconic piece of music, why not bring it back? Like, I mean,
right.
Like it is instantly recognizable as fucking Superman's theme, so, you could obviously, try to come up with something on your own and hope to maybe even match it, but you're not going to top it. Like that's been synonymous with Superman for like 50 years now, basically. So I think it was really smart, and it just gives you that feeling like that Superman's here, man. Like Superman, it just has. It's just, I don't know. To me, I thought that was. I agree. Just a really smart decision to bring that back, and just you're not going to outdo John Williams. You're just not. It's just not going to happen. No. The man is top of his game. Top of the world of scoring. Composing.
And I think this one does, because I'll be honest, Superman's not my favorite character. I've always found it hard to kind of, I mean, like, he's just okay. You got this invincible guy. He's right,
and I feel like going back to the fun fact, like that's why James Gunn like maybe struggled to crack this character. It's like, how do you make Superman interesting? How do you make the invincible man interesting? And like, yeah, you could throw some kryptonite at him, and that's kind of the pretty traditional approach of we have to bring him down to our level. And there's certainly shades of that happening in this movie. Not to fully get into spoilers, but it is very much.
And he cracked it with the dog. It's like, oh, you surround this character with a bunch of other relatable characters. Maybe it makes the main guy relatable too.
You're right, and that have power sets that like he kind of just can exist in this world, and like obviously a big point of this movie is like he's an alien. He's not one of us or whatever, but like this is a world, as you talked about, it's filled with metahumans. It's filled with people like Superman who maybe are of Earth, so they don't get the alien treatment, but they've got powers. They can stand toe to toe with Superman. Maybe not fully outclass him. But yeah, I mean, that's how you make Superman interesting, is surround him with things that are also interesting and let him, and at the same time, like, give him like the juxtapositions through these characters so that like when Superman is up against a Green Lantern, not fighting, but like, when they're interacting with each other, or when he's up against Lex, obviously as like a main villain here, like you let that mythology, the idea of Superman, like his approach to superheroing, why he does what he does, his characterization like is still at the forefront and kind of the driving force of the movie. And it just gets to shine because it's not him interacting with his dad saying, don't save the dog, or don't save me, I'll just die, it's fine. It's like, it's him interacting with larger than life figures like himself, and yet he can still stand out because he's fucking Superman. Like, that's how iconic he is. And like, that's, his characterization is what sets him apart from even people of his ilk who are of the cloth, as Guy Gardner might say. So yeah, no, I totally agree.
I think it actually does a really it makes Superman just, like you say, it makes him shine. You know what I mean? It makes him interesting. Totally. It portrays an ideal. He portrays an ideal, and it shows how he, it seems like a believable. Superman's believable in this. You know what I mean? And as a character, and I think it's really, 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 really well done. Superman's just simple. You know what I mean? He just wants to do good, and I think that's
He's got a very clear-cut moral philosophy of, I was raised to do the right thing, and I will do the right thing because
I can.
Because I can. I can outclass anyone on this world. Maybe outside of this world too, if needed. But like at the end of the day, I'm driven by the idea that like, no, I can do good. I will do good. Like that's what I can do. I should do that. Why shouldn't I do that? You know? And
man, the parents of Superman, we see the parents of Superman, and I got emotional a couple points in this movie. And I'm glad that I'm glad, one, because it was probably sweaty and smelly a little bit, but also there were a couple, like I said, two times really cut me really deep. And traditional James
Gunn
about that fashion, but
sure.
You go back to there's a sequence where they go back to Clark Kent's family,
Smallville.
And it's just it's really good. I think this movie, it shows Superman being challenged. It shows I don't know, really just puts his character on the forefront, as it should. It's a Superman movie, but I mean, it really examines his ideals and stuff, and in a really, really, really well done way. In a way that doesn't make Superman like snap a neck. You know what I mean? Like he's able to. Well, he did do something, but we can talk about that in spoilers, I guess.
Oh, okay, all right, we'll get there. Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, I had a lot of fun with this movie. It made me laugh, made me cry. And
the things that a movie should do, that we want, this. I got to bust out Nicole, I think.
Exactly. It's waiting, trying to line it up. I tried to set it up.
Come to the theaters for. I know we've done a full line reading of it at some point, but she wasn't wrong in this one. She fucking nailed it, man. That's why you were so right, Nicole. That's what we were saying when the credits started rolling.
Anyways, a lot of fun, a lot of incredibly well put together movie. So that's my non-spoiler thoughts.
I agree with everything you said. I have nothing to disagree with you on. I just have other thoughts to add. So I'll add them in. I loved how comic booky and unabashedly comic booky it was. It's colorful. It's not afraid to be colorful. Yeah. It's it's just bright. Like there's some lasers in the sky and shit going on. Some classic comic booky sort of touchstones that we've seen, but I don't know. And like Superman's costume, it's like blue and red, but not like muted blue and red. He's got that underwear. He's got the trunks, man. I'm a fan of the trunks. I think it's funny they actually put out a concept art, just like within the past day or two, of this costume design without the trunks, and it just looks fucked. It's just
it does.
So wrong. And like the Man of Steel costume, I think does look. I think it legitimately looks good, and I think it fits for the vibe and everything they were going for. I don't think it would have worked here, and I don't think this would have worked there. Like they're so different from each other. But it's just such a breath of fresh air, obviously for DC particularly, because oh my god, like their bread and butter is just dark and dour. Like what's the most like, depressing, colorless version of reality that you can conjure? That's your DCU. The DCU,
a black and white Justice League.
Literally black and white Justice League. Yeah, the epitome of the fucking DCEU is a goddamn 4-hour beat you over their head of black and white 4-3 Justice League.
Jeez.
And this is such a far cry from that, and we are thankful for it. So hats off to James Gunn, man. I think he wrote the shit out of this movie. I think he directed the shit out of this movie. So I'll talk about both of those things. I guess starting with directing, I love the camera work. I just thought it was very kinetic. The action set pieces. I thought for a character that obviously flies and has basically infinite powers from flight, super speed, heat vision, frost breath, whatever, like it's all utilized here in I think pretty interesting ways and ways that make sense. Like he's fighting characters who have powers too, and and like I guess we saw it with Man of Steel, like Zod and company they all had superpowers and stuff like that. But this just does it in such a, I don't know, to me it just felt very zippy, the way the camera was like moving around with them flying up, like eyes up here, and then the camera swoops up and shoots up to follow him up. Yeah. Just I loved kind of how all that was done. And I thought that just obviously where there's dialogue and stuff like that, like that's a more muted, version of directing, but man, dude got some fucking great performances out of a stellar cast with, I think, really, really great cast chemistry as well. Yeah. But going more to the writing, like just the characterization all around, and not like Superman pitch perfect, like Superman stands out because this is a version of Superman that is just fucking Superman. He's not sad about things. He's not moping around and like, well, I'm an alien. Like he's not doing that. Like me, snap some yaks. He's not doing any of this shit. He's mean to me. He threw me into an IHOP.
There's one thing too, really... yeah, like he Jesus. Superman gets frustrated in this movie.
Yeah, like he shows emotion, man. Like he's fun, but like like he has personality. Like he has like a little bit of spunk, a little bit of a punk rock attitude, you could say. He might say anyway. But I just think not just Superman. Superman they nailed, and like that's hugely important. You need to get Superman right for a Superman movie to work. But Lois, man, thought Lois was incredible. Yeah. Like just the perfect sort of unflinching journalist energy. I will challenge you. Like, I respect and, have, thoughts and stuff, but like, I'm going to do my job and like, like I am who I am and you can take it or leave it, like that's the kind of woman that she is. And like totally nails that. Lex Luthor is fucking arrogant and just like, he's just committed, to just being a fucking
megalomaniac.
Billionaire. Like, I am right, you are wrong. I know you. I'm smarter than you, and I will tell you about it. And everyone that works for me are all fucking peasants to me, and insects to me. I'm just nailed that, and all around. I mean, you got
character too.
For sure, and
can't
like,
help it kind of feel sad. Pity him a little bit.
Totally, I think that they're like it's not no one's one note. Everyone's kind of 3-dimensional in terms of their characterization, in terms of the writing, and I think the characterization is very strong, but the plotting of it I think is also really interesting too. You've got the backdrop of a conflict between foreign countries that like what's the morality of and the ethics of getting involved with that. If you're an American coded superhero, we know you're dealing with big innocent monsters. How do you handle that situation? You're dealing with I don't know detaining an alien. Interesting. How does that work? There's a lot that that like plot wise it covers. It's really, really interesting. And I think that just the actual literal plotting of it, like how it's woven together, is really interesting. This is not a long movie. I mean, it's just north of 2 hours. I think there's a version of this movie that could have been 2.5 hours. But I didn't think it needed me. I think it was like really perfectly paced and just like, it's dense. Like, don't get me wrong. It's fucking dense and it's going to throw you right into it. Like, you're going to get a little text in the beginning of the movie that gets you a little bit to set up the scene, which reminds me of something that happened with my viewing experience that I didn't talk about because I was just ready to jump into the movie, but maybe I'll get there in recommendation if I remember. But you're kind of in it. Like, you kind of just have to just accept it. Like, this is a new world. This is a Superman who's been Supermaning for a few years, but he's still a young guy, you know. He's you know, probably hasn't fought his biggest foes yet or anything like that. This is kind of him, it seems like, for the first time really coming up against Lex in a significant sort of way. So I just thought that just the writing top to bottom was really strong. And it is James Gunny. You're absolutely correct in saying that.
That's not necessarily
but I do think
a bad
it's like
thing.
It's not a bad thing, and I think also it's a relatively restrained James Gunn, because this needs to be a PG-13 movie. A rated R Superman movie is totally unnecessary. You've got The Boys. You had Brightburn if you want a kid version of it. Like we've seen that. You have Injustice, the Injustice video games, Evil Superman. You know, like there's so many other ways of doing that like this needed to be, you know, not pushing the boundaries of, you know, how fucking hardcore and badass that Superman can be. And, you know, like it shouldn't have been that. It's not that. And I think that, you know, James Gunn with guardrails, like kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, there, you know, there's a little bit of edginess here and there, but it's not so over the top. Or as something like, you know, Peacemaker, where we talked about with the trailer, you know, or the Suicide Squad, I guess, by extension, or Creature Commandos, right. Or and just going back to, like, you know, his earlier stuff with like Slither, and then like the early days with Troma when he's doing, you know,
I felt like he thoroughly understood Superman.
Stuff.
You don't want that. I don't want that in a Superman.
It's like he managed to cast apart the side of himself that is like, I'm going to do weird fucked up shit. And like, there's like crazy weird shit in this, but it fits. It like fits the mold of what this movie should have been. So like, there's James Gunny stuff in there, but it's like, you know, a little pulled back James Gunn.
I feel like he limited to the James Gunniness, or like those qualities of James Gunn. I feel like he just kind of put them all in the Green Lantern's character. You know, and called it a day,
which is great. Like, it's totally fine. You know, for Guy Gardner, that all totally tracks and totally makes sense. It's great. Other things, the score, I think, obviously, including the use of the John Williams iconic theme, but I thought all around was actually a really nice score. Yeah. I'm like eyeballing the vinyl right now. Not gonna lie, we'll see if I get it. But also, something where James Gunn restrained himself. There's not needle drops every 5 minutes. There's like 2 significant needle drops in this movie, and they fucking slap. Yeah. They hit hard when they arrive. Yeah. Like, they are very, very well placed. They're very earned. And like in a classic sort of James Gunn way, like using music that, like, me personally, I'm not familiar with, but now I am, because I've listened to them many times on Apple Music. And when I hear them, I'm going to think of Superman, you know, like, and that's such a cool thing. I've done, you know, so many of those Guardian songs, like some of them I knew, you know, some of them was like, oh, that's cool to have in Guardians. But, you know, half those songs, I'm like, I didn't know this song. And now I know it. I like this song. But to me, it will always make me think of Guardians. Right. And like, those are fun, warm. Yeah. I mean, fuck, dude. Yeah. Hooked on a Feeling is like, that's synonymous with Guardians now. So, I think that might be it for my non-spoilers things. I guess I wrote out a little bit of a list, but I kind of went out of order, and I think you kind of touched on a lot of the stuff that I probably would have hit on if you hadn't. So I don't think we need to rehash things, reiterate things. I think I'm content to move on to recommendations, so we can really, you know,
dive in,
fully get into things more in spoilers.
The meat and potatoes,
if you are,
the
meat and potatoes. All right, so recommendation wise. I guess we can kind of treat this as, all right, should you see this in theaters now that it's maybe by the time you're listening to this on the regular feed out on VOD, but maybe still in theaters? You know, I think it's fair to say we're not going to tell people don't watch this, or, you know, wait till someone pays you to watch it. I think we can safely eliminate that as an option.
Definitely.
So thinking about it in terms of, like, for anyone that, you know, it's now been out for a month plus, now I have the option. I can pay $20-$30 to watch it at home, or I could maybe still spend $10 at a movie theater to see it. You know, what do you think? Do you think this is worthy of people still going out to see it? Like, obviously, if you had the choice in the first place, maybe you should go see it in IMAX Dolby, but we know that's not realistically an option anymore unless they decide to re-release it. But yeah, what do you think? Where do you stand on recommendation?
I think this movie's worth money, right? I think it's worth...
Okay, at the end of the day, it's worth some amount of money.
Yeah, exactly. I think that if you can go see it in a theater, I think that, I think it's definitely worth a theater trip. Right? Louder, you know, and bigger. At the very least, At the very least, I think I think that if you spend money to watch it, you won't be disappointed, right? So if you're like, hey, I was waiting for the WRR review, before I potentially rent this on VOD or buy it on VOD or whatever, or I don't think you can buy it physically, can you? Not yet?
Not yet. I think they usually stagger it. You get your theater, then you get the VOD drop, and then like maybe a month after that, you get the full on physical release. So
I think it's rewatchable, and I think it's a very good movie that's worth money, right? And
then it's on streaming at some point, usually down the line too. Although I think WB is like really fast with all of those phases. Like they're a lot more accelerated than some other companies are. So
all
right, so spend money. Theater ideally, but
spend money.
All right. Well, I think in terms of the quality of this movie, I'm going to definitely say it's worth the theater trip. I think that if you haven't seen it already, it's the way to see it. I mean, it's a summer blockbuster, and just a really, really good version of that too. And again, as I said, a breath of fresh air for DC for the character of Superman, and and it's a new Superman. It's David Corenswet. It's new versions of all these characters, and to me, I don't think James Gunn is asking for a ton of buy-in for the DCU. I think he's very much treating it as hey, watch what you want to watch. It's not going to be completing homework in the way that kind of Marvel has become for the past several years with all the Disney Plus stuff. There's going to be stuff that you're going to skip over. We're going to treat each movie as its own thing. But I think, you're basically at new movie number one.
Yeah.
When Iron Man came out, it wasn't like it was a big ask to go see Iron Man. I mean, it was a big ask in the sense that Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., okay, it was kind of a little bit of a harder sell back in the day, but obviously turned out to be a great fucking movie and, still stands up as one of the better entries in the MCU. This... man, it kind of does the same thing. It hits the ground running. It sets up so much for the universe, even more so than something like Iron Man did, because of, the state of comic book movies in 2025 when this is coming out. But it just crushed it. It totally nailed it. I think see it in the theaters. You can really appreciate the artistry of it by seeing it in a theater. And if you can't, see it as soon as you can. If it's $20 to rent, $30 to buy, spend the extra $10. It's a rewatchable movie. I think that it's worth... I'm going to buy it.
I think that the story and what the message of this movie is a message that's needed right now. I think everybody should watch it.
It's pretty timely.
It is timely. And not in a political kind of way, just an atmosphere kind of way. People's attitudes towards each other, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I think it's
arguably also in a political sort of way.
It is.
Depending on what you pull out of it. You don't have to pull that out of it.
You don't have to pull that out.
You certainly could. You could, not read between the lines if you surface level reading of it is do good.
Be nice to people, yeah.
Be good to people, it's good to be good people, you could read it as that. I think there's a little bit more.
There is more
and nuance. If you search for it, if you're willing to
you don't have to search. You don't have to. It's not beating you over the head, though.
It is not. No, certainly not. But yeah, I agree. Before we jump over to spoilers, I guess I'll just quickly note my viewing experience, so we can bookend our viewing experiences. I saw this up in Vermont. I talked obviously at the end of the Andor episode about the vacation that I took up there. So I saw this opening night actually.
Oh wow.
At the Essex Cinemas, which the state of Vermont does not have any AMCs or Regals. They do not have any Dolbys. They do not have any IMAXs.
Wow.
But they have at the Essex Cinemas what is called a dinosaur or T-Rex theater. I jokingly call it the dinosaur theater, and now it's one of those things where I keep calling it that, and now I think that's actually what it's called.
You're pulling a me.
My brain recalls. It's Johnny V sort of situation, exactly. So I think it's a T-Rex theater. Anna thought that it used to be an IMAX at some point, and maybe it was, and it lost the branding at some point. I'm not really sure. It was fine. I would say the auditorium itself was sort of stadium, but not really big enough. It felt like it kind of just went further and further back, like from the screen. So it felt like I was like a mile from the screen. But the screen was a decent enough size. Like the quality was fine. The audio sounded fine. The audience was good too. People in Vermont aren't assholes, it turns out.
I can't think of a less asshole state than Vermont. Vermont's pretty
much. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, what you would expect. But it's also a statement like, do people watch movies in this fucking state? And like, it turns out they do, but it's slim pickings for, the quality of things potentially. But it was fun. But I was like, I want to see this again. I like seeing things twice. Things that I tend to see twice. That's usually my MO. If I can certainly find the time with A-list, typically it's not like I'm spending extra money to do so. So I did rewatch this in Dolby. I had a little bit of a snafu. And what I'll say is AMC has started a bullshit thing of adding ads into their trailers. Like between trailers, they now play ads. And when you book your ticket on the app, it says your movie will start 25 to 30 minutes after the listed showtime. So my ass shows up I go for 20 minutes. I'm like, I don't want to show up at 25 or 26 because they say 25. And if I show up at 26, maybe it's already started. So I usually try to get there right about 20 after the listed showtime. And so I did that for Superman, and I was meeting up with Enrique and Iselin, who were seeing it for the first time in Dolby in Philly, and they got to the auditorium. They walked into the auditorium, I think they said maybe 14 minutes after the showtime. This shit had already started. The fucking movie had already started, and I wasn't even to the theater at that point. They just texted me like, "Oh fuck, it just started," or like it's already started, like when they walked in. And come to find out, talking to him after it, like it was like a minute in. Which is to say that it's the movie proper. Like we had gotten through Nicole, we had gotten through the Coke ad, we've gotten through the Dolby bullshit, and like this thing was full on started like 13 minutes in, like past the showtime, which is bullshit, If it was always like that, I would be fine.
Yeah, you need to have a little consistency so people can know.
If your movie is supposed to start at 7, start at 7. Fuck yeah, that's a great idea. I can't believe no one's thought of that. What if we started trailers at 6:40 instead of 7 on the dot? Like, what a fucking concept. But like, that's not what they tell you. So like, they condition people, and and then they fucking turn the lights off, and people are like trying to fucking scramble past each other in the dark, up the stairs, past people's steps. Everyone's reclining, so you can't really get past people because once you recline, there's not enough room to really get past people's feet. So you're just bumping into people. Sorry, excuse me, sorry. I know the movie started 20 minutes ago, but how was I supposed to fucking know that? So thankfully, it was the second time I watched it, so it wasn't as frustrating. But like basically, the point that I walked into the theater was.
God.
Like before the interview sequence, which isn't really a spoiler to say, but like I missed a good solid like opening of the movie. Like there's a whole fucking thing that happens in the beginning of the movie. Like it again, this is a movie that throws you right into things. So I missed that. But either way, Dolby experience was once I settled into my seat, a little too
very
late. Bullshit. Sublime.
Golly,
AC
fucking
worked.
rough on
the
the
AC
movie
was,
theaters, isn't it?
It's that was the corn on the cob theater. Anna has a flat policy of never going to that theater anymore. She's sworn it off, and I think it's probably the right policy to have. But it is more convenient than driving 30 minutes to New Jersey.
Fuck yeah, it is. Damn.
So it's not as convenient as it used to be. It used to be walking distance from our old apartment. Now it's a public transit right away. So it's not quite as convenient, but like again, it's not a 30-minute drive.
That's not bad. Still, that's pretty nice.
So we when we see stuff together, we'll take a trip out to Jersey, because then we can usually do a Costco run and all the good stuff. But yeah, anyway, really like the Dolby. This was
Dolby
an ass shaking kind of Dolby experience,
for sure.
Which was really good. So I appreciated the Dolby side of things. So
I thought my Dolby screen was abnormally large. It felt bigger than normal.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
and it had big fucking holes in it.
It did. Yeah, I don't know. It was bullshit. That was definitely bullshit. But anyways, yeah. On to spoilers.
On to spoilers. Full spoilers for Superman.
Yeah, dude. Lex is really good.
Yeah, Nicholas Hoult. This man has auditioned for Batman and Superman, and well, he finally got cast as someone. And I think I think. Look, I don't think he would have been a great Batman. I actually could have been a fine Batman.
He could have been fine. Yeah.
I think Superman's less of an obvious fit for me.
For sure.
It's kind of like when Cillian Murphy auditioned for Batman. I'm like, I love this guy. He's great.
Batman?
I think he'd be weird as Batman, you know. But yeah, Lex, he committed. He shaved his head, which is good, you know.
Yeah.
None of this whatever the hell Jesse Eisenberg was doing in that one movie, or Gene Hackman was doing.
They're coming, or whatever he was saying.
Granny's piss tea, whatever. You know. Yeah, weird shit. But yeah, man, he was great.
It's like he really understood why he hated Superman so bad. You know why Lex hates Superman? He just understood it, or maybe and the way it's written is really clear too. You know what I mean? And James Gunn understands why Lex does not like him, and it's just like a very believable character. And I thought that was awesome. I thought it was so good. I really enjoyed Lex.
He's just a world-class hater. It's really what he is.
Yeah.
You know, just you know, like I know you're superior to me, but that's why I hate you. You know, like fuck you for being so
everything we're not
awesome that that makes us, you know, look like insects, you know. And like there is like obviously like a sort of, I think, a rational side of Lex's sentiment of being like, how are we supposed to trust someone that has this sort of power? Like that sort of power can't be trusted. And like, you know, as audience members, we know like Superman's good, man. Like, you know, and like that's why it's the classic riff of you know, when Superman goes bad, of like, holy shit, the world is fucked. You know, it's why the boys in the Homelander, you know, works, and why he's such a terrifying character in that. But here, you know, we've got good, honest, earnest Superman. And so we've got Lex on the other side, you know, so like we understand the sentiment of why he feels this way, and why he thinks that, like, you know, the more metahumans, the more Supermans out there, like the less import that we humans take. And he's got, you know, this sort of, you know, a feeling that, you know, I'm smarter than you, like you're just some dumb fucking hick, you know, or whatever, you know, like, who the fuck are you? So,
Which I think that the real interesting thing is too, right? Is he's got this complex about him being lesser than Superman. However, he treats all the humans. It's like he projects Superman as being this guy that's going to do all this terrible, heinous shit, right? But he himself thinks he's better than everybody around him, and treats everybody else like shit.
He himself, right? Yeah, and you know, just like, you know,
if I do this to everybody around me, what are you going to do to everybody around you? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and like, let's just pull this guy from Metropolis who fucking sells shit out of a street cart and like use him, like, you interacted with Superman once. Let's play fucking Russian roulette with this guy. Oops, I fucking shot this guy in the head and blew his fucking brains out.
I'll go find somebody else.
You know, like,
oh my god,
I'll go find Clark Kent. You know, that journalist you keep talking to. Like, man, like Lex is. I mean, like, again, you can understand maybe the sentiment, but Lex as a person is pure fucking evil. You know, at the same time too, and like a relatable kind of evil of just totally detached from actual humanity, like what humanity really is. You know, just very depraved.
And Superman says as much. You know what I mean? When they get, you know, when he fights him, when that dog gets a hold of him. That dog gets a hold of him.
The dog pulls a Hulk Loki sort of situation, just ragdolling him around.
Like Alexis screaming.
Which is satisfying.
He pulled a Tom Cruise scream.
Yeah, classic mummy scream.
Or when he gets squished by the truck.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyways, Lex was great. Superman's parents were great, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Which parents are we talking about? Because maybe some of them aren't so great. Maybe his biological parents had questionable intentions.
Real invincible kind of
Mr.
shit there, huh?
Yeah. True.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper's Invincible, which, you know, I don't. Is that a comic booky thing? Did his parents send him out for conquest?
I think it is not traditionally a comic booky thing. But it has been done in some in like a similar vein before. Like it's been done. It's not something that James Gunn like totally pulled out of his ass, but it is not a traditional common version of you know, his birth parents being a little bit more fucked up with like, go create your super harem, go impregnate the women and spread the seed, like none of that is really pretty standard for the Kryptonians. So yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different. I mean, it's certainly different than what we've seen cinematically, with Brando and the Christopher Reeve ones, with Russell Crowe, as Jor-El. Like, it's very, very different from what we've seen cinematically, for sure. But I think it works. I mean, and I think like it's such a huge critical part of, like, it really forces Superman to literally halfway through this movie reconcile, like, who am I? Like, what am I here for?
Oh, dude! Like, and when his dad says, what's he say? He says, I think the way that you interpret the video, and he says it as a simple farmer man, you know what I mean? So however it's written, but he's like, the things that you do, or the way that you interpret that video says more about you than whatever the thing is with the video,
Yeah.
And man, just wrecked me.
Your choices, your actions, that's what makes you who you are.
Yeah. It was just it's just so good.
Which is really, really touching, like, this is a Superman who obviously has well, I mean, like, it totally makes sense. You never knew your parents. You've got this one video message of your birth parents, like, obviously no disrespect to Jonathan and Martha Kent, who are obviously integral to Superman being Superman, and we'll get to that. But, like, it makes sense that, you're an alien, you came from the planet Krypton. All you have, to remember, your birth parents is this partial message, and it's sort of broken, and it's just, like a really kind of like sweet sort of thing of like, we sent you here to save you, and and then come to find out, just getting the carpet ripped out from under you, the rug, pulled from you, and just being like, we think you should conquer this world because these are a bunch of fucking moron idiots, and you should fuck everyone that you see, and
be their god.
Make sure that the Kryptonian genes pass down, like that's like a really, I mean, there's like a sort of like I mean, the movie goes out of its way to really address the fact, like, no, this video is totally real, because it kind of makes sense that everyone would be like, Lex just made this shit up, and like, it does address that. And James Gunn's talked about, like, no, I tried to, have 4 different lines of dialogue to make it clear that's actually what happened. I know it's a little bit different than what people are used to with this sort of thing, but it's like really, really important, because it puts Superman in such a hard place that he's, now had to like figure out, like, well, what the hell? And then, yeah. And that's where Ma and Pa Kent really shine, is because it's just like, like, that's his parents, it's a sort of ego Yondu situation. Like, clearly James Gunn is not unfamiliar with exploring this idea of, he may not have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy. Like, it's kind of a little bit that, right? It is a little bit that, and in a different sort of way. But it's just so touching, because by the end, I just, that to me, the final shot, of him sitting in the fortress watching, the vision, the video of him as a child with the Kents.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was good. Just so, like, such a touching, sweet, emotional moment to end this movie on, and like the perfect note. Great needle drop, as I said, punk rock, I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. It's fucking great. Iggy Pop and teddy bears, something like that. Just really, really good, of just being like, like those are the people that instilled those values in Superman. Like, yeah, he idolized his birth parents, but like, Superman is who he is because the Kents raised him to be a fucking good man. And to be human, and he totally rejects Lex's, bullshit of being like, I'm fucking more human than you. I am human. Like, well, I don't know if I'm more human than you. I'm as human as you. Let's put it that way. I'm not literally human, but I'm as human as you are, because I was, I was raised here, and like, that's what I make mistakes. I fuck up. I get angry, and like, but like, my greatest strength is being fucking human, So
yeah,
I don't know. That to me was just such a.
Oh, that's really touching. Yeah.
Really, really well delivered dialogue. Just really, just so perfect for the character. And like, it is sort of like, let me explain who I am to you, kind of, but it totally makes sense, because so much of the thematic side of this movie is like, who is this person? What makes Superman Superman? And I think that what makes Clark Kent, and all that, I think is just handled so well. Really, really enjoyed that.
I think it's probably my favorite part. I really like how they like the Fortress of Solitude turned into that. It really turns into a place where he's comforted, and it really shows that, which was awesome.
It's a Fortress of Solitude, except for when it gets interrupted a couple times.
Which is pretty fucked. I thought that was really fucked. Whenever those like engineers, that's what they're called. They show up and tear it all up and bust up the robots and stuff, and the robot's like sticking a screwdriver in his head. He's all fucked up.
Yeah, that was Alan Tudyk says, I keep stabbing myself.
Yeah, it was definitely twisted. But I like I said, the end of the movie there when he goes back and it's like, hey, play the video of my parents, and it just seems like it's a real comforting. Looks like a real comforting, place to kind of meditate and stuff. It's cool. Very good.
Absolutely.
The relationship between Lois and Superman was awesome. I really like how there was a little challenge in there, where he's
definitely, well, and there's a challenge and like the dynamics between them, but I think that like they start this at a really interesting place in the relationship where like it's pretty new. It's not like brand new, but it's new enough that Lois is like, I don't know if this is gonna work. And like that's such a source of conflict. But those two have chemistry, man. Corin Sweat and Rachel Brosnahan. I was really excited when they got cast because I just felt like, Corin Sweat I'd only seen, well, I don't know if I'd actually literally seen him in anything, but obviously we've seen him in Twisters now, and I think he's in Pearl, which I think is where James Gunn like first saw him, was like, that guy looks like Superman. Let's get this guy in here. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, he does in fact look like Superman.
Yeah, he does.
But Rachel Brosnahan I was very, very excited about. Like I just knew that she was going to bring the sort of spunkiness that a Lois Lane should have. That like Lois Lane, again, does not take shit. I don't care if you're fucking Superman. I will challenge you. I will hold my ground. I will make you question your own morality and whether you talk to the American president about when, what happens when you go and to Baravia, a foreign country, invade their foreign country and kidnap their president and stick him next to a cactus, like Lois Lane's going to be like, you think you should have done that, Superman?
Their people were going to die.
People were going to die. I love that scene. That whole scene.
Yeah, it's really good.
If I was going to walk into this movie late, and I did, not by choice, and have to like have a scene where I can just like settle in and be like, I'm in that scene. Yeah, like I'm glad I got here before that scene literally started, because it's long. It's like 10, 11 minutes, and it's just this back and forth between them. And it's kind of, I think, pretty much uninterrupted, but it's just, it's just a really
believable,
number one, I think believable, realistic, well acted, like conversation dialogue between two people who obviously, like Lois, like, she like says like a couple points, just like, like, I know you're right, but like, I'm being a journalist here. We're on the record. Like, I have to challenge you on these things. And, Clark's getting frustrated by like being challenged in these ways. It's like, I fucking went there and saved people. Like, what did I do wrong? Right. I didn't do anything wrong. I thought that was just really, it just felt so real. It felt so real from a like a, interview standpoint and like a good journalistic technique standpoint, but also just from like, for people that like clearly like each other and have a ton of respect for each other, but are still feeling each other out a little bit. Right.
Sure.
Like this, and it's a sort of interesting situation to be normal, but impressive woman and literal fucking alien god man, so it's a very interesting juxtaposition, those two together. And that's kind of why they work, is because Lois is the only kind of person that like makes sense for Superman, who, we skip over the will they, won't they parts of things. You skip over, she doesn't know his super identity, his secret identity sort of thing. Like you kind of skip over that, which is kind of nice in some ways.
I don't need that.
There's certain things that we've seen done before and we don't really need to see done again. This is not an origin movie, by extension. Like we don't have 30 minutes on Krypton before it blows up, The
movie's better for this too. Like I say, you elevate Superman and make him more believable by putting him in these situations where he can like you're exploring and challenging, what he is, like what he does, and I think it really makes him relatable, and you take an alien god guy and make him relatable. I think you're doing a really good job, I think it's really crafty storytelling, I think.
I agree. Yeah.
Who's Hawk Girl? Who was that actress? What's she in?
Actress? So that is Isabella Merced, who you would probably recognize from The Last of Us, the most recent season, if you've watched any of it. She plays Dina, who is...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, I haven't watched any of season 2. I've only played part of The Last of Us Part 2, the video game.
That's why I recognize her. Okay.
She's got a little bit of a thing going on with Ellie. And she was also in Alien Romulus last year. She was
yeah, okay.
Spoilers for that movie, but I think she's the one that gets impregnated, or she is pregnant, but then she gets the black goo.
Oh shit, the fucking goo.
Yeah. With the last 15 minutes of that movie that you probably wanted to axe off, but we're still there.
That's bullshit.
Yeah. But she was also in Madam Web. We can't forget about that. And she was Dora the Explorer in Dora and the Lost City of Gold when they made that live action one. So she's been doing things
prolific
for a little bit here. Yeah. But though recently been crushing it. Obviously,
she did a very good job in this one. I couldn't place it. Who the hell is this person?
The wings threw you off. But hey man, speaking of her, she dropped that fucking dude. She dropped that. She's I'm not Superman. She dropped that fucking guy.
yeah, she did. She's awesome.
The fucking jump cut, if you recall, this guy is falling, and then it's like an Alka-Seltzer being dropped into a glass of water. Holy shit! Fucking incredible editing. So it's an early contender for best editing in 2025 just for that one shot. Incredible stuff. But and I guess we were sort of talking about the relationships. I don't know if we're still there, but I will say we don't need to talk about it extensively or anything like that. But this whole Baravia Jarhanpur thing was, again, you could read into that a little bit more. I think if you wanted to, it's definitely got a little Israel-Palestine
for sure
bent to it, maybe a little Ukraine-Russia bent to it. I think that it's kind of intended to be a stand-in conflict that is like, hey, even in this fictional metahuman world, people still do shitty things in different countries, and like, and I think it's a really interesting way to set things up of, well, obviously it's sort of intertwined with Lex's overall scheme, but the actual idea of, superhumans, superheroes, getting involved in
saving people
politics and stuff like that, and it's like for Superman, it's like, I don't really care about the world politics side of that. Like, if this country is going to invade the other country and kill all the inhabitants of that country, that is a bad thing, and I will stop that thing. And it's really not that complicated. And maybe you could say that about real life too. But
for sure, you also have the fucking the prison. An alternate universe.
The prison, yes. We got a pocket universe of just like, well, you're an alien, so you actually don't have any rights. So we'll just lock
make you disappear.
You actually don't get due process. We're going to disappear you in this pocket universe concentration camp. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Jesus.
So yes, there's definitely some things in here that like, you could certainly draw some things out of there, I would say. But this is a movie with pocket universes in it, stepping aside from, whether you really want to engage with the heavier side of things and, the real life parallels. Yeah, pocket universes, man. Like the whole third act is like a fucking dimensional rift shit, I'm like, what the fuck is happening in this movie? It's crazy shit.
So Superman did not break any necks, but he did.
Oh yeah, what is it that he did? Oh, he kicked Ultraman?
He kicked a clone of himself into a fucking black hole. Well, he
didn't kill him necessarily.
No, I mean he got hit by a bus technically, I guess, right?
That's true. Yeah. So he's absolved of any wrongdoing. It's a little different. I mean, you've got to defeat your villains at some point. You can't
That's
just
true.
Because the engineer, he's got a pretty big tussle with, goes up in outer space for a bit.
Oh man, that
comes down and he's getting all the fucking nanobots and shit. It was pretty gnarly. But, he knocks her out. But they make a point, like, no, she's still alive. It's okay. She can come back for a sequel. But also she's not dead, so Superman doesn't kill her, so it's fine.
I thought she was kind of she was probably like my least favorite character, I think, is that okay. Person.
But you have to remember that she can do a backflip and then her head comes out of her butt sometimes.
Yeah. It's like I just didn't understand what the fuck's going on here.
Yeah, I think that's like almost a remnant of, because she's part of the comic book team, The Authority, which I think was a Wildstorm comics character, and then DC at some point acquired all those characters and they integrated them into the DC, kind of like Watchmen. They kind of did that, like the integrated Watchmen into the main DCU, and it was very much not intended to be initially. But I kind of feel like he had bigger ideas for like what we're going to do with the Authority in the future, and this is maybe supposed to be set up of that. But then like where things stand right now is it kind of seems like the Authority movie isn't really moving forward. So I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I think it makes sense to put Superman up against superpowered beings, in terms of...
Yeah, she was compelling as a henchman, just...
Yes, but that's kind of it.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to point to any character being kind of just like a...
There's not much characterization there. I think that's probably one. She is kind of just superpowered evil henchman. And then obviously like Ultraman is like the ultra version of that, because he's a mute version, 1A, just like all he's doing is just blindly taking commands from Lex, because he's a clone without any real intellect, it would seem. Which it's an interesting twist, cloning and stuff like that. Again, that's just another example of this movie just being kind of fucking wild and bonkers and out there, but like in a way that it's just like, okay, that makes sense. I mean, I can buy it. Lex is crazy asshole. There's the character is called Mr. Handsome. I don't know if you remember this, but there's like when they're in the Pocket Universe, like when they go on these transports, like this weird fucking naked looking white alien looking thing.
Guillermo del Toro looking thing.
Del Toro looking thing. Apparently James Gunn talked about this. That is the first like attempt to create a human that Lex made when he was like 13 years old. Like that's the backstory. And because there's a little framed photo of him on Lex's desk as well. So he's he's been experimenting with
that's funny. That's good.
Cloning and human genealogy. A little Ozymandias, Watchmen, in terms of kind of the types of things that he's doing. I think.
Look at that thing. That thing is Mr. Handsome.
Oh, is it Mr.
Looking.
Handsome? Yeah. He's I guess just really saying like the Authority. We'll see what happens with that. She is just kind of a henchman. Oh, Ultraman. Yeah, clones. Yeah, all right. I've worked myself back to where I was. I lost my train of thought briefly, but yeah, Ultraman. I thought a good. If you're gonna pick a big punchy type villain to come up against, having a literal version of himself kind of makes sense. And I do think, and this is not speculation of my own, like the design of the Pocket Universe and like the dimensional rift and the blockiness of it seems to be very Bizarro coded in terms of like comic books. So there's maybe a speculation that Ultraman may return at some point as Bizarro. Like this is kind of like an origin story for Bizarro where
okay,
he's already kind of fucked up. He's not really vocal. Like he could come back and kind of have like the backwards speech or whatever of Bizarro, which could be interesting potentially. So, but yeah, what else is there in this movie that you'd like to talk about in spoilers?
Mr. Terrific was awesome.
Oh yeah, and that fucking action set piece, the 5 years time.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a stand. I mean, he was cool. He was badass and like played straight. Like not messing around. Just like constantly serious, but in like a way that's perfect because you've got him. You've got Guy Gardner, who's constantly a fucking douchebag, and then you have Hawk Girl, who's like pretty cool, but like maybe another character that doesn't have like a ton of characterization in this particular movie. Other
she's
than,
like don't give a shit about anything, She's
badass. She doesn't really seem to care too much. She's just I've got wings. I can fly around. I've got a fucking mace. I can beat the fuck out of people. I can drop dictators, out of the sky. But yeah, Mr. Terrific is just fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
redemption arc for Eddie Gathegi, who played Darwin in X-Men First Class, where he was the mutant that can survive anything. That was his mutant power, and he's the first one to die. And he's black. So, coincidence? I don't know.
Yeah, he does a real good job in this movie of playing like just a deadpan serious dude who's completely outrageous. Like I don't know.
Well, pulling it off. The T-spheres were like cool, like the way they're integrated and fly around. And he's got his little fucking T. Well, I don't know if they have a name for it. T-ship. Well, he's got the chair. He flies around in the chair. He's just flying around in the chair, which is goofy as fuck. But again, works. Somehow works.
Pulls it off. Yeah.
But I was thinking of his little ship that he gives to Lois, and obviously
the owl looks like the owl
kind of use.
Car from
it's the owl. It's the Watchman. Yeah. It's definitely a bit of that in terms of design. Total badass though. Jimmy Olsen, he's a real player.
Yeah, that was funny too. How do you do it? It's pretty good.
Yeah. How does he put up with mutant toes? I don't know. Hard to stomach that one.
The Daily Planet guy was pretty great too. The main guy. He's not present a whole lot, but when he's there, I think he's pretty good.
Like Perry, like Perry. The editor, editor in chief. Yeah, no, the Daily Planet crew was fun and felt like a good natural camaraderie for like people that work together and like obviously have and like they had something to do. Like Lois has like a really important thing to do. Like Lois doesn't have superpowers, but like between her and Jimmy, like they fucking, like Lex is basically on the precipice of being successful, of being like, look at Superman. He's here to fucking take us over. # super shit. # super harem. I've got all my monkeys typing away, with their fucking bullshit about Superman on X. And Truth Social or whatever it's called. He's just typing away. And Lex, there's Lex almost certainly has his own Lex book or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, the fact that like Lois, Jimmy, like Eve, all her selfies, man, like they all kind of. It all kind of comes together, like they make a huge fucking difference of unraveling this massive fucking scheme of Lex literally conspiring to work with foreign countries to take over another foreign country and have part of it, given to him. And like even Lex kind of is just like, yeah, that was all just a pretense. I don't care about any of that. I just wanted to fucking ruin you.
Yeah,
like right. That's again world class fucking hater.
But Superman's got his thing, but the other characters are just as important, So, like, what is Superman without the rest of the help? Because if it was just Superman, I don't necessarily think the outcome would have been the same. You know what I mean? Well, he almost uncertainly, he would have been stuck in the pocket universe at least, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, important stuff.
For sure.
That makes a
story.
That's
true. That's how Superman, because he's getting kryptonited, he's getting metamorphosed. I don't know if you recognize him. That's NoHo Hank from Barry. Under all that makeup.
Oh, the Sandman guy.
Is fun.
Metamorpho. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is good.
Is he?
Good.
Is he almost like the same thing as the Absorbing Man? Or the Absorbing Man has to be touching a thing, right?
Yeah, I think that's but similar-ish kind of characters, I think. And obviously different companies and stuff, but yeah, kind of, they all have analogs,
Yeah, right.
Of each other. So yeah, I think that's a fair enough comparison. So, yeah. All right. Well,
I think that's all I got.
What else is left? Crypto is a good boy. It has to be said. Crypto is a good boy. He's not well behaved. He's quite unruly. Much like Ozu, his inspiration, he didn't fish any tampons out of the trash or anything, as far as we are aware, or any super tampons, we should say. But he's a good boy, and he's, I felt bad for him, man. He's running and chasing those fucking squirrels. It's fucked up, man. Kidnapped the dog. Where's the dog, Lex? Like, that's like the most angry Superman gets in this movie. He gets frustrated with Lois. Yeah. But it's like, you kidnapped the fucking, it's not even my dog, like it's a foster situation.
Yeah.
And, the fact that like the thing that like, that's a very relatable thing, is the thing that Superman gets fucking absolutely livid about is someone stealing a dog. Because it's fucked up, man. You don't steal a man's dog.
Right.
You don't steal a
He
woman's
never gets. I don't think he ever
dog.
gets angrier. Like,
no.
that's the angriest you see him in the whole movie. It was really good. It was really sad cute. When like the whole world turns on Superman. You know, they threw the can at him and stuff.
Yeah, throwing shit at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all right.
And
I think they came around by the end.
I did like how Green Lantern's all, like he's like the way he is throughout the whole movie, but like he put up he like blocked out everybody, from Superman a little bit. You can see how he's kind of like he's a team player too. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that was very cool. Supergirl, we got a little tease of Supergirl at the end, which is fun. Thanks for taking care of him, bitch. This is going to be a little different Supergirl, I think, than what we've seen in the CW version anyway, where she's kind of just, Lady Superman, goody two shoes, that sort of thing. This is definitely going to be a different version, which is interesting. I'm intrigued. I thought the costume looked good. I like the casting. I liked her in House of the Dragons. The only thing I've seen her in, but feels like a good fit. Certainly for at least the vibe that we got for this. And it was good fun to see her in crypto roughhousing at the end. That was,
just like pounding her in the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, we see where he gets it from. It all kind of makes sense by the end. The credit sequences I think are like nice little additions, but nothing plot consequential. Like I think anything like kind of setting up the future is kind of within the movie itself. Peacemaker cameo, which was fun.
Yeah.
I thought that was good. That was good. But yeah, I think, we get the nice little shot of him in crypto in space, and then there's like a little funny little thing with Terrific at the end. But it clearly was not we're going to set up Thanos or we're going to set up Darkseid, from movie one, or Brainiac is coming. Yeah, right. Like there's none of that. And I think that's okay. I mean, I think the problem is, so people are conditioned to like expect monumental, groundbreaking shit. And I think that in some ways, like, I feel like every time I stay and it's like a fun little silly thing at the end, people are like, oh, I stayed for that. And it's like, it's like 5 minutes of your life, dude. Like, I don't know. It's not that serious. Like, would it be cool to see some grand setup for things? Like, sure, that could be pretty cool. But this movie works on its own. Like a movie should stand on its own. I mean, it's cool to have codas that maybe are fun tease for the future. And obviously Marvel's done pretty well with that. Sometimes they give us Pip the Troll and and Harry Styles, and it's like, who fucking cares? But,
yeah, sure. But after 15, 20 years of stuff, having stuff that doesn't stand on its own can kind of be a disservice.
For sure.
You have to be,
if everything's always about the next thing, then we're not spending enough time with the current thing. And this is very much a movie that's like, no,
and it requires so much more of your audience too.
Yeah. So I think it was pretty smart. To do it that way. Again, it would have been fine the other way, but I didn't think there was anything inherently bad about doing it this way. So, I'm going to check my notes, but I want to say that I'm feeling pretty good about my spoiler conversation. Oh, he saved the squirrel. You have to mention that he saved the squirrel, and that apparently was a scene that test audiences did not respond well to, but James Gunn stuck to, wait for it, his guns and kept the scene in there of him saving the squirrel. And you know what? I think that was the right call. This is a Superman that saves people. He doesn't kill people. He saves people. And you know what? He saves squirrels. He wants to save the big kaiju thing. Said, don't blow it up from the inside. Don't poke its eyeballs with your Green Lantern shit.
That was fucked.
Don't do any of that sort of nonsense. Blow it up from the inside with the T-spheres. Don't do any of that. I will save this thing. I know it's kind of big and wrecking, the fucking city, but yeah, I don't know. Just good stuff, man. Yeah, that's just Superman. He's the real punk rock, man.
And some would say that's punk rock.
Exactly. My point is, I question everything and everyone. You trust everyone and think everyone you've met is like beautiful. Maybe that's the real punk rock. Great. That's so fucking fun. That's just great dialogue. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed this movie. I really enjoyed Superman. I think James Gunn knocked it out of the park with this one.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Very, very happy with it. I think the DCU
We're off to a good start.
It's looking bright. We're getting Supergirl next year. The WB actually confirmed that James Gunn is going to be writing and directing what's not being considered a Superman sequel exactly, but will be the next movie that will include Superman, and it's like the super team. So I can't help but wonder if it's going to be both a Superman and Supergirl combined sequel potentially. But we've got other things coming out. We've got Lanterns coming to HBO Max next year. Obviously, Peacemaker, we've talked about with the trailer, is the next thing if you need a more immediate follow-up. I think some members of the Justice Gang are expected to appear in that. So, the universe is in full swing. Getting TV shows, we're getting movies. It's kind of all happening. So that's the future of the DCU, and that's the last thing I have to say on that front. Unless you want to talk about anything else, but.
No, that's it. We're off to a good start, man. I'm excited about it. Comic books seem to be in a good spot right now.
It's been a pretty good year overall. I mean, obviously, we're not totally done. We've got a big Marvel movie to talk about as our next episode, to tease that. But I don't know. Captain America maybe was a little bit of a miss, but I think we've righted the ship so far. So Superman, I don't know. So all right, well. Let's talk about some other things and then we'll wrap it up for the episode. So it hasn't been more than a week or so since we talked about Andor. So it has not been the extensive gap obviously that there was between Mission Impossible and Andor, where there was a child being born and lots of other shit happening in our lives, and for me again multiple vacations. But we've been up to some things maybe in the last week or so. So what have you been up to that you want to talk about?
What have I been up to? God, I don't know. It's all such a blur. I went to Michigan.
Yes, yes. I guess I say we've talked about it.
Yeah,
because you
I went to Michigan.
The theater, but yeah. How was that? What'd you get up to?
It was good. We went up. We flew up on a Thursday, came back on a Sunday. The flight to Michigan was we had to be at the airport at 4 a.m, so that sucked. And then we didn't get back from the airport until I think 2 a.m. on Sunday, and then I have the auction on Monday, so that sucked.
Did you get any sleep?
Yeah, no, it was awful. But that aside, the trip was a lot of fun. We went and watched my brother-in-law play baseball. He was playing for the Utica Unicorns, and so that was really cool. And really happy that I got to watch him play. Bennett had a lot of fun. Sent you a couple pictures of him screaming, and he started. I would go woohoo, and he would do the same thing, and that was a lot of fun. And we went with family too. So we went with Sarah's mom came, and then Sarah's cousin and her 2 kids, and Sarah's aunt. And Rome, which is another one of Sarah's cousins, they all came up, and we stayed at an Airbnb. We came to the house that we were supposed to go to, and they had double booked it. We were trying to find a way in, and some guy opens the door. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And we're like, "We're here for the weekend." And he's like, "I'm here for the weekend." I'm like, "Oh shit." So the people that own the place, apparently they booked. Apparently Sarah's cousin booked it in VRBO. And they had booked it out in Airbnb or something.
I see.
The platforms didn't talk to each other or something, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, the guys had the people had another property, so we went to that place instead, which was a 1.5 bedroom or 1.5 bathroom, with a window unit for an entire floor, 2 window units for the entire floor upstairs. It was just not a very pleasant experience.
Well, I hope that it was a little cheaper, especially.
Well, that's what you would expect, but I don't think Sarah's cousin made any waves. She didn't.
Didn't try.
Yeah,
didn't try.
I mentioned it a couple times, but it's I'm not gonna kick a dead dog here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But we ended up making the most of it. It was pretty fun. It was a very, very, very fun trip. We went to this place in Michigan called. It was off of Lake Sinclair. There's a park off of on Lake Sinclair, and it was a massive, massive park, and it was a lot of fun. We went there the day before we left. We ate some White Castle, which was awesome. And it was real good trip. Nice. I saw a Fantastic Four opening night the day before I saw Superman. So I got to see a couple movies. So that was a lot of fun. It's very cool. And Magic the Gathering had a new release called Edge of Eternities.
Oh, okay.
This one's really space themed.
Okay, I was gonna say it doesn't look like it's like I think like you've showed me Final Fantasy ones. I think you sent a link to was it a Marvel one they did recently? So this is
the Marvel one
within Magic.
Yes, they just did a Sonic secret layer drop.
Sure, gotta go fast.
Yeah. Of course. Edge of Eternities is a space themed drop. It's more of a conventional release, so it's cool.
Okay.
Got some good cards out of it. It's a pretty awesome set. The lands are really, really, really cool. Trying to think if there's anything else. I feel like there is. Severance. I've got one more episode left to watch of Severance. I don't even know if season 2. I don't know if I've shared with you that I've been watching that show. But that
I think you've talked about. I think you would have talked about season 1 because I feel like did you take a break?
A little bit.
1 and 2. Yeah, I feel like there
Andor,
a little bit of a gap.
Because of Andor.
Right, Andor. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like you talked about season 1, but I don't think I realized that you've been watching season 2. So, all right, so it's obviously out and done, and the episode is available. You just have yet to watch the finale.
The last one, yeah. Really, 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 really good show. Season 2's awesome. It's very good. Very incredibly well shot show.
I feel like I heard mixed things about how it compared to season 1, but it sounds like you're digging it.
I think that I might like season 2 better than season 1.
Okay.
Well, I like the fact that it's more. It almost feels more it feels like we're moving in a direction where we're going to have some ideas of what the fuck's going on. Okay. And the first one was kind of didn't have that. It was very much ended on a cliffhanger. I feel like we're going to have some sort of conclusion here. So that feels good to me. What else? I started a book called Hail Mary. It's going to be a movie starring Ryan Gosling, I think.
Yeah. Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary. That's it.
So it's the Martian guy, Andy Weir.
Yeah, exactly. It, right? Yeah. And I'll be if I don't do the Running Man next, I'll be doing the Martian next. This book, I'm 4 chapters in, so I'm not terribly far. Really good. It's like it hits the ground running. The way that the character was written in the very beginning of as the book starts, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle what this guy's dialogue. It's another hard sci-fi book that's with a character that I can't really identify with because he speaks this way. But then it's part of his character. It opens up and it's deliberately written in a particular way. And I think that's, and it acknowledges why he's written this particular way.
I see.
And, awesome. Clearly we understand the character. Clearly we understand, the way people are. I don't know. It's just, it's really good. So that's cool. And I think that might be it. It. I listened to a badass song that's in Tron, Nine Inch Nails song. Fucking hits hard. It's a hard hitting song.
As alive as you need me to be.
Oh, man. I like that one a lot.
Well, I will say sizzle for I think our next episode. We're gonna talk Project Hail Mary and we're gonna talk Tron because we've got trailers for both of those. So.
Ooh.
And the way that I sizzled for Mortal Kombat with the Andor episode, I'm sizzling for the next one. I gotta rope the listeners back in.
What about you? What you been up to?
A bit. There's a lot of stuff that I had done at the time that we did record on Andor that I didn't talk about because we were at the 3+ hour mark at that point, and we're not quite there yet on this one. Although
you're approaching,
we're getting there. So thematically tied to what we talked about, I have been reading All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely, which is kind of one of the inspirations for for Superman for the movie. I forget exactly when this was written. It's not super recent, but it's also not very old either. I think maybe within the past 10 to 15 years. Oh no, it's longer than that. Ran from November 2005 to October 2008. So it's now, close to 20 years old. It's a like standalone 12-issue Superman story, basically with the idea that like Superman gets overexposed to like the sun's radiation and it's slowly killing him. And like,
oh jeez,
like, yeah, and so it's basically kind of like the last days of Superman and like what he accomplishes and like, how he approaches his relationship with Lois and, it's really, really good so far. I've read, I think 7 of 12. I had started it a while ago, obviously felt inspired when Superman came out and then picked it back up. And then after I got back home from Vermont, I haven't picked it up again, but I wanted to talk about it since it's obviously relevant to what we're covering.
Sure.
And it's really, really good. I mean, I think it's an inspiration in the sense that the characterization of Superman is kind of, I think, what James Gunn looked to, if that makes sense. Like the actual plot stuff, and like for Lex and for Lois, I think as well. The actual like plots of these, this is not a movie about Superman dying. Superman's first appearance is not him dying. Although, once upon a time in Superman's second appearance, he died in the old DCU. So maybe there's still room for them to do that. No. Probably not. Probably better things to do with the Superman character. So I would recommend it, but I do need to finish it. But I've heard it's great, and I'm really keen to see how it wraps up. I just need to set aside a block of time to do it. I don't know why I do it to myself every couple of years, but we rewatched the Star Wars prequels, the prequel trilogy.
For you.
It's not necessarily of my own volition that I do so, but Anna wants to watch them. She likes to do a Star Wars rewatch every year. We started our Star Wars rewatch in May. We are not in May right now, obviously. So it's kind of dragged out, and it's because these movies are kind of ass my dude. And in fact, they are still kind of ass my dude, and my opinion has not really changed. I will say, you have a drink or two. Like if you switch your brain off, like they kind of veer into comedy, like good comedy territory. Like obviously the Anakin Padme stuff is fucking dreadful, and you just got to like weigh your way through it. There's like moments here and there in Revenge of the Sith that are good. Anna thinks it's a good movie. I don't agree. I think it's a bad movie. With like a good idea for like things. I mean, I guess what I will say is, to George's credit, watching these movies is kind of just like a documentary of real life in some ways. And like, it's not because George predicted the future when he made these, 20 plus years ago. It's because, things history tends to repeat itself, and like the things that he was riffing on in terms of like real life history that inspired like the rise of the empire and the emperor taking over, and the downfall of the Republic, like, yeah, I don't know. So, so this is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause, or whatever the line is. It's just kind of like, well, kind of, yeah, kind of is how it goes, huh? So it is kind of interesting to watch when you kind of, again, not obviously made with that exact intent. Maybe a warning against, like, don't let one guy absorb all of the power, because, then he'll just,
abuse it,
just impose his will and do whatever the fuck he wants and be able to get away with it. Like, what if we just didn't have a Senate anymore? What a great idea. Let's get rid of all of it. Let's just consolidate everything under one person. What could go wrong? So it's interesting from that perspective, I will say. I have seen some movies. There's a few movies that I watched in the month of June, which was when you were very, very busy with a small newborn baby. So I watched How to Train Your Dragon, the live action version.
Oh, okay.
It's How to Train Your Dragon in live action, and I think that kind of says it all. I think it's pretty good. It's like a pretty good version of it. But it's kind of the same. It is kind of the same. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, it loses a little bit of the charm that the animated one has, because the style of it brings, lends a lot to it.
Yeah, sure.
So this kind of, it's a little less colorful. It's a little more, I don't know, it's just different, but it's not a bad version of it. It's really not a bad version. So if you're like not inclined to watch animated movies, like I could see this, playing pretty well for younger audiences. Like it's still relatively dark and moments. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was, which was I walked in the door expecting it to be about 99% the same, and it was that. So
okay.
And then F1 I watched in IMAX, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Some really great racing sequences.
Top Gun on wheels.
It's Top Gun on wheels. It really honestly is.
That's awesome.
It's literally the Maverick director, sub Tom Cruise with Brad Pitt, and that's you're kind of it.
That's perfect. That's good. That's nothing wrong with that.
No, really nothing wrong with that. I mean, I feel like it's kind of I think it's actually technically getting a limited 1 week back in IMAX sort of deal, which is probably done by the time this is out on the regular feed. But right now we don't know when it's coming to Apple TV, because I think it was technically an Apple movie, or if it's going to do a VOD window. I don't know when it's coming to home video, but I would encourage you to check it out. I mean, it's one, and like honestly, we could circle back to it and cover in full. Like, it's pretty fun.
Okay.
I think that seeing it in IMAX, is certainly the way to do it, because of the racing sequences. And they are like stand out, and they're like really well shot. The sound design's really fucking good. You got a pretty solid Hans Zimmer, not phoned in score. So I enjoyed it. So I would recommend it. I mean, a little bit of it's dare I say, formulaic. But
does it start? Does that theatrical release? Does it start this weekend through next weekend, or is it?
I think yes. For when we're recording, it has not happened yet. I think it is the weekend of the 8th. I guess August 8th. I think it's like a 1 week thing where it's on IMAX.
Okay.
But there's other stuff in IMAX too. So I think it's only certain showings throughout a day. So it's okay. You're already limited in terms of the 1 week, and then you're further limited by the fact that it's only at certain times in the day too. So
got it.
Yeah.
Rough one.
Yeah, but would recommend however you can, whenever you can, kind of movie. Watched a documentary called "A Body in the Snow: The Trial of Karen Reed." I don't know if you know anything about Karen Reed. She was a woman married, or I guess in a relationship with a cop in like a Massachusetts town. I think not technically Boston, but I think somewhere outside of Boston, if I'm not mistaken. And she was accused of murdering her boyfriend, who was a cop, and there was a whole trial. And it's kind of a case that caught a lot of the media attention because there seemed to be some weird gaps in the prosecution's case. And so this documentary was basically leading up to the trial, kind of throughout the trial, and it is very focused on the trial, which happened, I think, might have happened last year, and it's interesting. I mean, it's one that you kind of have to look at. To me, I am a lawyer. I can look at it with through the legal lens, and my honest sense of her case was maybe she did it, but there sure as shit wasn't enough evidence to prove that she did it. At least not as presented in that trial. And there have been some subsequent legal developments post that trial. It's not the end of the story, and there's a little bit to it beyond that. But it was interesting. Anna put it on. I wasn't going to watch it. I think I was sitting there playing The Switch 2, which I'll talk about in a second. And then I just got sucked in and we watched it. It's like 5 episodes on HBO. So it's interesting if you're into that sort of thing. True crime, obviously, kind of deal. And then Nintendo Switch 2 came out. Can't remember. I don't think I talked about it on Andor. If I did, I may be repeating myself, and I apologize for that. But yeah, we got the Switch 2. Been playing the fuck ton of Mario Kart World. I have been putting a lot of time into Pokemon Violet because it got a big upgrade, and I'm really enjoying it. It is. I think I said as much to you when I opened it up. I was like, oh, this makes the original Switch feel like a piece of shit, like a little toy. It's a well put together machine.
That's pretty high praise. It's pretty good.
It's been like 8 years since the Switch 1 came out. It was time for an upgrade, and so visually and just materials wise, it just feels like a big step up for Nintendo. So I'm really, really enjoying it. And finally for me, I went to a concert, which was Jimmy Eat World and the Offspring.
Oh man, that's a good one, dude.
Which was a good one. We went out to New Jersey for it, and where we saw Kendrick Lamar actually play once upon a time. Out in Camden, and great show. I mean, I kind of like we went more for Jimmy. Like we became really big Jimmy fans because they toured with Fall Out Boy. I think last year, or the year before, and like we got more into Jimmy after that show. So it was
Jimmy's always been great.
I've always liked him, but I have now gotten way more into him than I was previously. Other than the middle's great, whatever. And they were good. They played for like 50 minutes, so I wish there was a little bit more. The Offspring was kind of like the bonus. I was like, I like the Offspring. I'd seen the Offspring once before, and I thought they kind of sounded like shit. But I was kind of willing to be like, whatever, it'll be fine. It should be fine. I like most of their songs. I know a lot of their songs. Like Americana, I had the CD of back in the day, and I fucking loved the shit out of that album.
Yeah.
And I thought they were a ton of fun. They sounded pretty good. I don't know if it was like when I saw them, everyone was on drugs, or everyone's drunk, sort of thing, and now everyone's old and sober. I don't know, or if it was just bad equipment or bad audio issues, or the setup of where I saw them rather back in the day. But they sounded good. Played some bangers. Pretty fly for a white guy. They had like the car lot inflatable guys. Like they had that of the fucking white guy, which was fun. It was like a weird kind of vibe of like, I don't even know, like who cares about the Offspring anymore? Like they still put out new music, but obviously like they're a legacy act. They've been around for like 30 plus years now. But I don't know, the old guys, they did pretty good, and they did a really nice Ozzy tribute as well, because they played like within a week of Ozzy's death. So they did like a partial cover of Crazy Train, and they did, I think, Paranoid. They did a little bit of as well, Sabbath, and wouldn't think that it would make sense for them to cover those songs, but I thought weirdly it actually sounded very good for like material that I wouldn't expect the Offspring to like. I would like the Offspring covering Black Sabbath in my head sounds like a terrible fucking
it doesn't
idea.
sound
but
right.
Actually, but actually it wasn't bad. Like I almost feel like the guy's Dexter Holland, he's got like a very high voice that actually like wasn't too far off for him. Like he's not Ozzy, obviously. No one is. No one will be. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was fun. That's it. That's what I've been up to. That's what
a lot. You've been up to quite a bit this past week.
I was, like I said, well, that was not all within the past week.
Oh yeah, that's right. You said that.
The concert was some of that. Well, we did watch Revenge of the Sith in the past week, so that's really it for the last week that we've been up to. But some of the other stuff I wanted to I wanted to cover here, because we're gonna have a guest on the next episode, and that always takes a little while when we get through some other stuff. So I didn't want to have a bunch of shit backloaded into that. So anyway, let's wrap this up. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread the word. We're on Patreon at patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat. You can get early access to all of our regular episodes there. You can get timed exclusive access to any bonus episodes that we're working on. And I will say, Andrew and I are talking about bonus episodes. It's on the forefront of our minds. We are thinking about it, contemplating what we should do, and it is a thing that will happen at some point before the end of the year, I assure you. So it's not an empty promise if you support us on Patreon. Our website's watchreviewrepeat.com. We are on Blue Sky at watchreviewrepeat.bsky.social. Instagram, we're on Instagram at WRR, or no, oh man, it's been too long. I think we're at Watch Review Repeat on Instagram. Does that seem right? Yes, just Watch Review Repeat on Instagram, and then facebook.com/Watch Review Repeat. I was thinking of the website that we do not mention, where we were at WRR Pod, which we technically are still on, but we don't use anymore, so don't look for anything there. And of course, if you want to get in contact with us, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, what we should cover, send that to watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. If you've got something to say, send it our way. I realize now I'm like, I didn't actually check if anyone sent anything, but if there's a listener's corner, it'll be on the next episode.
There we go.
Intro and outro track is Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod, adincomptech.com, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. We will be covering the other big superhero blockbuster that came out in July, and that would be the Fantastic Four First Steps.
Holy shit.
Has Marvel Studios taking over the rights to the Fantastic Four? Have they finally figured out how to make a good one of those movies? Well, You'll just have to stay tuned and find out when we talk about it on our next episode. So until then, Andrew, you want to take everyone out?
Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Laters on the Menche.